Chapter 25:16. Liangi, why are you here? Yushu was shocked. Didn't I tell you not to come? Oh my god. Shu sis, what is this? Why is the water so black and there's dirt in it? Pinliang asked, looking like a drowned rat. Man, it's to prevent perverts from coming. Yushu explained helplessly. Yaro's sick, I have to be prepared for fire, theft, and pervert. Fire, theft, and perverts. Pinliang blinked. How? Using this basin of dirty water? Yeah, think about it. Water can put out a fire, right? I put the water on top of the door, so when someone opens the door, the water will fall down. Isn't this anti-theft and perverts? Yushu explained. There are perverts here. Can perverts come in? Isn't this a girl's dorm? Pinliang was speechless. He wasn't sure if Yushu was messing with him on purpose. After all, there were plenty of examples like this. If it's a girl's dorm, how did you get in? Yushu asked. Pinliang thought about it. It was true. Didn't he get in anyway? It wasn't that Yushu couldn't understand the pervert's actions, but it still didn't sit well with her. But, isn't this a trap? I'm dead because of you. Liangi, you're wrong. Didn't I tell you not to come? I told you not to come, Yushu said with a straight face. But you didn't listen to me and came in. Who can you blame? But, even if I don't come, won't other people come? It's not good if the dirty water gets blamed on someone else, Pinliang said. Other people knock first. Who told you to barge in without knocking? Yushu blinked suddenly and looked at Pinliang teasingly. I say, Liangi, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Are you trying to see something you're not supposed to see? Gah. Pinliang froze as if Yushu had stepped on a sore spot. He shook his head awkwardly. Of course not, I'm just worried about Yaro's illness. I'm not that bad. Alright Shu, stop teasing Zhong Pinliang. He's really unlucky. Meng Yaro spoke up softly, Zhong Pinliang shouldn't be a pervert. He knows that you're not easy to deal with. Why would he act like a pervert in front of you? That's right, you know me best, Yaro. Pinliang heard Meng Yaro defending him. He felt a surge of warmth in his heart, feeling extremely comfortable and pleasantly surprised. He thought that Meng Yaro was starting to acknowledge him in her heart. Alright, Zhong Pinliang, look at how dirty your hair is. Hurry up and take a shower. Don't catch a cold or you'll catch a cold too. Meng Yaro said to Zhong Pinliang. Shu, bring Zhong Pinliang to the bathroom. Let him take a shower. Let little Liangzi take a bath here? That's not very good, is it? Yushu's face changed at Meng Yao's suggestion. Yaro, there's your sexy lingerie in the washroom. Meng Yaro blushed. Shu said, Shu, don't talk nonsense, what about mine? Besides, the bathroom is private. It's not like we're taking a shower outside. Meng Yaro naturally wouldn't put her lingerie in the washroom, but Zhong Pinliang didn't know that. His heart raced when he heard that Meng Yao's lingerie was in the washroom. He almost had a nosebleed. He quickly said, Shu sis, I'm not feeling well. I'm really not feeling well, let me take a bath. Don't worry, I won't do something dirty like that. If I can't even get past this, how am I going to be your and Yaro's bodyguard in the future? Is that so? Then you can't look around or touch. Yushu finally agreed after some thought. But you should go in and take off your clothes first. I'll go check the bathroom after you're in, see if you touched our underwear or not. You can't lock the door from the inside. Don't worry. Although Zhong Pinliang said that, he felt a little regretful. He felt a little regretful in his heart. He had wanted to masturbate on Meng Yao's underwear, but this wish was obviously not going to come true. He pretended to be calm on the surface and said, My bodyguard's quality is quite good. You can go and check them later. Alright, go wash up then, Yushu said with a wave of her hand, letting him go. Then I'll go, Zhong Pinliang said and entered the washroom. He didn't have to take a shower, but if he didn't, he would have to leave. He wanted to stay with Meng Yaro for a while longer. Zhong Pinliang entered the washroom, and Yushu grinned at Meng Yaro and made a victory sign. Oh, it's done. Don't get carried away, don't let him find out later, Meng Yaro reminded. Don't worry, leave it to Shu. Yushu quickly took out the low-level golden cicada underwear from her wardrobe and stood at the washroom door, listening for any movements inside. Not long after, she heard Zhong Pingliang open the bathroom door, followed by the sound of running water. Evidently, Zhong Pingliang had entered the bathroom. But for safety's sake, Yushu decided to wait until Zhong Pingliang had soap all over his body before going in. After a while, Yushu estimated that it was about time. She opened the washroom door and walked in. Shu, you came in for a check. Pinliang heard the door open and guessed that it was Yushu coming in. The bathroom's glass was opaque, and one could only see a vague silhouette, but Yushu didn't want Pinliang to notice anything. What's the point of checking if you've already said that? I came here to pee. Turn around, don't look at me. Oh, okay, no problem. But I can't see anything through this glass. Although Zhong Pingliang said that, he still turned around. He thought, who wants to look at a troublemaker girl like you? If I look at you and you continue to cling to me, I won't be able to live for the rest of my life. Yushu pretended to go to the washroom, but her hands weren't idle at all. She quickly flipped through the clothes Pinliang had taken off, and with a single glance, she saw the mid-tier golden cicada underwear. Zhong Pingliang's golden cicada underwear looked very similar to the low-level golden cicada underwear, and there was almost no difference. This confirmed Yushu's guesses. It was very easy for Yushu to switch underwear, and very quickly, Yushu completed the switch. Chapter 25:17. Yushu pressed the flush button and walked out of the bathroom, saying as she walked, "All right, you can continue showering now. You can turn around now." Oh. Pinliang was washing his hair, so he didn't pay much attention. He only heard the bathroom door close when he heard it. You got it? Meng Yaro asked, seeing Yushu coming out of the bathroom with a smile on her face. Yes. Yushu waved the underwear in her hand, pleased. Don't you think it's dirty? Pinliang wore it before. Meng Yaro curled her lips. I'll endure it for Shield Bro. Yushu stuffed Pinliang's mid-level golden cicada underwear into a bag. About 10 minutes later, Pinliang was done showering as well. He walked out of the bathroom in a new outfit, his jacket covered in dirty water. He didn't put it on again. Shoo, Yao, I'm done showering. I feel much better now. That water was really dirty. Oh, right, where did you get that dirty water from? Someone else used it to clean the floor. Yushu said. Oh, Yao, how are you? Do you feel better? Do you need to go to the hospital? Pinliang didn't even notice that his mid-level golden cicada underwear had been swapped. It's okay, I'll be fine after some rest. I'm a little sleepy. Meng Yaro said with a yawn. She's sleepy. Pinliang paused, hesitating. He wouldn't be able to stay here if Meng Yaro fell asleep. Even if he stayed here, he couldn't talk to Yushu, could he? He didn't want to talk to Yushu. From his years of experience, nothing good would happen if he stayed with Yushu for too long. Yeah, I'll sleep for a bit. Meng Yaro said as she closed her eyes. Liangi, you've come to see Yaro already. Can you leave now? Yushu turned to Pinliang and asked. Okay. Yao, have a good rest. I'll come see you another day. Pinliang said helplessly. He didn't want to leave, but he had to. All right, Liangi, Yao's asleep. You're still talking to her? Yushu glared at Pinliang. Then. I'll be going. Pinliang felt a little regretful, but at least his relationship with Meng Yaro had improved quite a bit. This made him very happy. He didn't know why. Even if he was strong now, he still couldn't let go of Meng Yaro. Logically speaking, with his current strength, finding a pretty girl was a piece of cake, but maybe it was the stubbornness in his heart that made it hard for him to forget his love for Meng Yaro. Pinliang left, and Meng Yaro woke up as well. She didn't have a cold at all. Instead, he frowned and said, "Get someone to disinfect the bathroom later. I don't want any diseases to be infected." Meng Yao's hatred for Pinliang had reached a new level, and she was a clean freak as well. Naturally, she couldn't share a bathroom with Pinliang. In her mind, this was a very disgusting thing. It's all because of Shield Bro. Yushu picked up her phone and called the student service company. This was a work-study service company established by the student council. They could provide cleaning, shopping, running errands, tutoring, and other services for the students in school. The university was different from the aristocratic high school. Although there were many students from rich families, there were also some students whose family conditions were not too good. The student association provided them with a work-study opportunity, which was a good thing. Professional cleaning of the dormitory was also one of the programs, and it was specially provided to some rich kids. Of course, Meng Yaro and Yushu weren't the kind of people who would do whatever they wanted. Usually, they would clean the dorms themselves, but they didn't have professional disinfecting equipment. Meng Yaro and Yushu left after the professional cleaners arrived. They weren't afraid that they would steal anything. All the valuables in the dorms were locked in their cabinets, and the students in charge of cleaning were all registered with the student council. It was impossible for them to steal anything. After returning home, Lin Yi told Han Xiaopa to go back first. He needed to study the good stuff he got from the practitioner's market. In the room, Lin Yi sorted out his spoils. A blue crystal, a sky-class earth element beast core, and a piece of pure yellow jade. It seemed like there were only 3 things, but they were all extremely valuable. Including the sky-class beast core, Lin Yi now had a total of 5 beast cores. He could use the refining method he got from House Tagan to make an essence necklace, but one of the cores was given to him by that thing that surpassed sky class, and it didn't let him use it carelessly. Lin Yi didn't dare use it carelessly. It would be too wasteful. That core was clearly different from the others. With that thought, Lin Yi decided to postpone the refinement of the necklace for a while. He'd wait until he had another beast core. Lin Yi glanced at the thing in the jade space. It was still curled up in a corner, not moving. Lin Yi had gotten used to this thing's existence these days, so he just ignored it. Other than taking up a small space, it didn't disturb Lin Yi's life at all. Putting the beast core away, Lin Yi took out the jade pendant condensing method from his drawer, as well as the colored steel and pure yellow jade he had collected. In comparison, the material he had the most was pure yellow jade. There was only a small piece of colored steel and blue crystal. After arranging the materials, Lin Yi opened the jade pendant condensing method and read it carefully. There were 2 prerequisites to condense the jade space. The first was to collect all the materials, and the second was to reach the 2nd level of the art of dragon mastery. Although Lin Yi's cultivation speed was very fast during this period, he was still a little bit away from the art of dragon mastery. However, this condition could be achieved through his own efforts, so Lin Yi didn't need to waste time and effort to find it. As he continued to read, Lin Yi understood why Jiao Yazi said that he needed to reach the 2nd level of the art of dragon mastery before he could condense the jade space. It was because condensing the jade space required a forging fire, and the prerequisite for the formation of this forging fire was to reach the 2nd level of the art of dragon mastery. As long as the forging fire could be formed, the jade pendant could be condensed. Chapter 25:18. Lin Yi didn't know if this forging fire had anything to do with blacksmiths, but it sounded similar. It was just that this forging fire was converted from the art of dragon mastery, and there wasn't any special incantation or condensing method. Lin Yi put down the jade pendant condensing and put all the good stuff he got from this trip into the drawer. The drawer was filled with good stuff. There were 3 pieces of the map, the Wanianshan box, 5 spiritual beast cores, pure yellow jade, blue crystal, and colored steel. As for the Skynet and 1000 silk mask, Lin Yi carried them with him. After doing all this, Lin Yi sat on the bed and continued practicing. He couldn't help but think of Wang Xinyan. Lin Yi didn't know if it was because he missed her, or because he wanted her to help him with his training. After a while, the sound of a car came from outside the villa. Lin Yi didn't expect Meng Yaro and Yushu to drive back first. "Shield bro, Shu has something good for you." Yushu took out the mid-level golden cicada underwear as soon as she entered the house, holding it up in front of Lin Yi. Zhong Pingliang's mid-level. Zhong Pingliang's Zhong Pingliang? Lin Yi blinked and realized what Shu meant. He couldn't help but be surprised. "Shu, you're saying that this is Zhong Pingliang's golden cicada underwear?" "Yeah, I used the low-level golden cicada underwear to replace it." "That idiot doesn't even know about it," Yushu said proudly. "What do you think? Shu is amazing, right?" "Yeah, it is." Lin Yi nodded. Then is there a reward? Yushu asked. Like a kiss of love for Yaro Yaro sis. Phut. What does that have to do with me? Meng Yaro froze and almost kicked Yushu. Of course it has something to do with you. Actually, it's all Yaro Yaro sis's credit. If it wasn't for Yaro Yaro sis pretending to be sick to attract Zhong Pingliang, Shu wouldn't have the chance to replace the underwear, Yushu said. So, it's all Yaro Yaro sis's credit. Then. I don't want the reward, you can have it. Meng Yaro said, a little embarrassed. Okay, come on, shield bro. Let's kiss Shu. Yushu said happily. Haha. Lin Yi obviously wouldn't kiss Xiao Shu. Although they had kissed before and Xiao Shu even confessed to him that night, Lin Yi knew that Xiao Shu might seem bold, but in some aspects, she was very conservative. Otherwise, with Shu's personality, he had probably been pushed back a long time ago, but he hadn't been pushed back until now, which proved this point. Then I'll note it down first. I'll have to return it in the future. Yushu didn't force the issue. She picked up a pen and wrote something on the calendar in the living room. X year X month X day, Shield Bro owed Shu a kiss of love. I'll pay you back double in the future. Lin Yi was stunned. He looked at little Shu thoughtfully. He felt that there was a hidden meaning behind her actions today. But he couldn't figure it out. Lin Yi had a premonition. Maybe, this thing could really come true in the future. Otherwise, why would Shu remember this? But, before Lin Yi could think too much, Shu passed the mid-tier golden cicada underwear to Lin Yi and said, Shield bro, wash it first before using it. Lin Yi nodded. Actually, without this thing, Zhong Pingliang has nothing to rely on. I don't need to wear it to win against him. No, Zhong Pingliang has a... I don't know what it's called, it's something like the Jingu Bang. It seems to be able to break through people's chi protection and injure them with a stick. What if he hits you with a stick? Yushu said worriedly. Oh, that's a good thing, Lin Yi nodded. Alright, I'll wear it and deal with him tomorrow. Okay, finally done. Otherwise, this guy would be so annoying. Meng Yaro let out a breath of relief after hearing Lin Yi's words. Since you guys are back, I'll go check on Han Jingjing. Have you guys seen each other these 2 days? Lin Yi asked. Not really, that girl is always studying stuff. We don't disturb her when there's nothing important, Meng Yaro said, but Wang Xinyan came yesterday and asked where you were. Wang Xinyan? He came yesterday? Lin Yi paused. Yeah, she said she felt a little dizzy and wanted to ask you for help, but you weren't there, so she left, Meng Yaro said. Dizzy? Lin Yi blinked. Aya, I think it's just that Xinyan misses Shield Bro and has no excuse, so she said she felt dizzy, Yushu said. Shu, don't talk nonsense. Do you think everyone is like you? Meng Yaro glared at Shu and turned to Lin Yi. I wouldn't have thought about it if you didn't mention it. Hurry up and call her, ask her what's going on. Okay, Lin Yi was a little nervous. What was going on with Xinyan's dizziness? He didn't want anything to happen to Xinyan. Even if he didn't consider it from a relationship perspective, Xinyan was still very useful to him. And so, Lin Yi gave up on the idea of looking for Han Jingjing and called Xinyan directly. It didn't take long before Xinyan's lazy voice came from the other side. Hello? Lin Yi. It's me, Xinyan. How are you? I'm back. Yaro Yaro said you felt a little dizzy. Are you feeling better? Lin Yi asked. I don't know what's going on, I just felt a little dizzy, and I fell asleep. Xinyan rarely slept during the day, and she didn't know why she'd fallen asleep earlier. Maybe it's the flu. Cold. Wait for me then, I'll go to school. Lin Yi said, catching a cold isn't a small thing, you can't let your guard down. You might not even be able to go to class if it gets serious. It's not that serious, is it? I'm so sleepy. Xinyan said, I'm in the dorm, you can't come in, why don't you let Yaro Yaro and Shu pick you up? You can have dinner at my place tonight, or you can sleep at my place if you can't. I'll keep an eye on you. Lin Yi said. He'd said it for Xinyan's sake, but he couldn't help but think about how he'd be able to hug Xinyan and train at night. He couldn't help but think about the ambiguous relationship between the two of them. I don't think it'd be too much trouble. Xinyan didn't reject it, but said that it wouldn't be too much trouble for Meng Yaro and Yushu. This made Lin Yi happy. It's fine, it's no trouble at all. Lin Yi said. Then. All right, I'll clean up first. I'll be going downstairs by the time they get here. Xinyan agreed after some thought. Chapter 25:19. All right. Lin Yi hung up and turned to Meng Yaro. He was just about to say something when someone beat him to it. See, Yaro Yao? Shield Bro's forgetting his old love after finding a new one. He's treating us like errand runners. He didn't even ask us before telling Xin Yang sis that it's no trouble. Yu Shu said with a resentful look on her face. All right Shu, stop pretending, isn't Wang Xinyan sick? Meng Yaro didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Besides, weren't you the one who made her Lin Yi's first wife? Hehe, I'm just saying it casually. Yu Shu smiled and lowered her voice to Meng Yaro. Yaro, I'm fighting for your interests. Are you not going to do anything with Shield Bro in the future? I'm helping you make your presence known. All right, let's not talk about stuff like that. Meng Yao's face reddened as she coughed. Let's go find Wang Xinyan, we don't want her waiting for us. Yu Shu and Meng Yaro mumbled as they walked out of the villa. Their voices weren't loud, but Lin Yi could still hear them clearly. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. His relationship with Meng Yaro and Yu Shu was a little weird, wasn't it? In fact, it wasn't that Lin Yi didn't like the eldest miss, but the eldest miss's mind was erratic. Sometimes she was passionate, sometimes she was cold. When Lin Yi hooked up with other men, the eldest miss was unhappy. When Lin Yi wanted to go further with her, the eldest miss retreated. Lin Yi was afraid of scaring her, so he could only let nature take its course. Moreover, he was her follower. Stealing a young lady's mistress was a bit inappropriate no matter what, and it would damage his reputation if it was spread out. Although Lin Yi wasn't Meng Yao's bodyguard anymore, it was still a taboo in the industry. It didn't take long for Meng Yaro and Yu Shu to return, bringing Xinyan back with them. Xinyan had combed her hair and washed her face, but Lin Yi could still see the weariness in her. Oh, Shield Bro, I've brought Xinyan sis here, it's up to you whether you want to push her down, cure her, or train her. I'll go watch TV with Yaro. Yu Shu pushed Xinyan in front of Lin Yi. Oh. Xinyan, where are you feeling unwell? Lin Yi hesitated and said, let's go to my room. Yeah. Xinyan humphed in a nasally voice. She followed Lin Yi into his room. Wang Xinyan had expected this to happen. She was already here. Even if Lin Yi treated her, she wouldn't be able to do so. But how could he let go of the opportunity to cultivate? Of course, Xinyan thought that Lin Yi was an honest man, and that he'd only called her here to train. He didn't have any dirty intentions. Since she was already here, Xinyan didn't put up her guard. She entered Lin Yi's room and took off her jacket before lying on Lin Yi's bed. Lin Yi wasn't in a rush to cultivate. He first checked Xinyan's pulse. But immediately after, Lin Yi frowned. Xinyan's illness didn't seem to be the flu. There were no signs of a cold. Xinyan, other than dizziness, do you have any other symptoms? Lin Yi asked. No. What's wrong? My body. Is there something wrong? Xinyan was shocked after hearing Lin Yi's words. That's not it. Lin Yi shook his head and said, you don't have a cold, but there's nothing wrong with your body. You're just a little weak. You said before that your body hasn't been well since you were young. This should be the reason. Oh, I see. It's good that you're not sick. Xinyan sighed in relief and nodded. I'm not sick, but my body is a little too weak. Lin Yi said, how about this? I'll make you a dose of medicine. Drink it for a few days, and it should be fine. Okay, Xinyan didn't reject Lin Yi's words at all. She'd do whatever he said. Then you rest well. I'm going out for a bit, Lin Yi said as he stood up and quickly left the room. Meng Yaro and Yu Shu were watching TV in the living room when they saw Lin Yi walk out of his room, a little confused. Shield Bro, why are you out again? Yu Shu looked at Lin Yi, confused. I'm going to the pharmacy to get some medicine. I'll be back in a bit, Lin Yi said. Then go. Don't worry about home, I'll take care of Xinyan for you, Meng Yaro said quickly. Lin Yi nodded and quickly left the villa, driving to the biggest pharmacy nearby. Lin Yi didn't need to copy the prescription at all. He just had to say it once at the pharmacy. Xinyan only needed to nourish her body, and she didn't need too many treasures. She could buy all the medicine from a normal pharmacy. When Lin Yi got back to the villa, he saw that Xinyan had already changed into her pajamas. She was sitting on the sofa, watching TV with Meng Yarrow and the others listlessly. She yawned when she saw Lin Yi and said to Lin Yi lazily, "Lin Yi, you're back." "Thank you." "What are you thanking me for, Xinyan?" "Go take a nap if you're sleepy. It'll take a while for me to brew the medicine," Lin Yi said, seeing that Xinyan wasn't in a good state. "It's okay, I can rest here." "I'll sleep after I drink the medicine," Xinyan said. "All right, then sleep after you drink the medicine," Lin Yi said as he went to the kitchen to boil the medicine. "Shield bro is so considerate." "Xinyan sis, don't you feel happy?" Yushu whispered after Lin Yi left. Xinyan blushed. She didn't know how to answer. To be honest, she liked Lin Yi, and she was touched by what Lin Yi had done for her. But because of House Kang, House Yu, and Sky Elixir, she couldn't tell Lin Yi the truth. "Don't be shy, Xinyan sis. Why are you like Yarrow Yarrow sis? You like Shield bro, but you won't admit it." Yushu sighed. "I really don't understand you too. What's going on in your head?" "Shu, don't talk nonsense. Why are you dragging me into this again?" Meng Yarrow said, not in a good mood. "Fine, it's hard to be a good person, but it's hard to be a good person." Yushu shrugged and went back to watching TV. Lin Yi brewed the medicine quickly and passed it to Xinyan with a smile. "Xinyan, you've been waiting for a long time, haven't you? Hurry up and drink it." Chapter 25:20. Xinyan blushed a little as she took the medicine from Lin Yi's hand and started drinking it. Lin Yi's thoughts drifted to the ice palace, thousands of miles away. He thought of Xiao Xiao, his cute little wife. Was she doing well? Lin Yi hadn't heard from her in a long time, and he was starting to miss her. If it was possible, Lin Yi would go to the ice palace himself to visit her, but he couldn't do that right now. He couldn't make a third-level pill like the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill. Even if he did, crystal candy wouldn't be nice to him. So, Lin Yi decided to wait until he could make a third-level pill with Han Jingjing and become a sky class. Only then would Lin Yi go to the ice palace and see if crystal candy was still his little wife. Meng Yarrow could guess what was on Lin Yi's mind when she saw the dazed expression on Lin Yi's face. He was probably thinking about Tang Yun. She kicked Shu. "Don't talk nonsense. What's the point of saying that now?" Shu paused, but she was smart enough to figure it out. She stuck her tongue out and turned to Lin Yi. "It's okay. I'll help Shield bro find another little wife. Han Jingjing looks good. She'll be a perfect match for Xinyan sis." Lin Yi was speechless. How could they be a perfect match? Xinyan was a little sleepy after drinking the medicine. Her eyelids were fighting to keep her eyelids open. Lin Yi smiled at her. "Xinyan, why don't you go rest? You'll be fine after drinking the medicine. You'll be fine tomorrow." "Yeah, okay." Xinyan nodded and stood up, walking to Lin Yi's room. The meaning behind this was self-evident. Xinyan didn't want to say it out loud, but her actions made it clear. She was supposed to sleep with Meng Yarrow and Yushu, but she chose to sleep in Lin Yi's room instead. It didn't matter if it was just to help Lin Yi with his training. This was a clear sign that Xinyan liked Lin Yi, and Meng Yarrow could see that. Yushu could see it, and so could Lin Yi. But they all understood that Xinyan might have some concerns in her heart, and Lin Yi was trying to help her with that as well, but to no avail. "Hurry up, Shield bro, what are you waiting for?" Yushu urged after seeing that Lin Yi didn't follow them into the room. "Then, I'll go to bed first." Lin Yi was a little embarrassed. "Shu, I'm sleepy too. Let's go get some sleep." Meng Yarrow yawned as she turned off the TV. "But I'm not sleepy." Yushu's eyes were wide open. "Are you sleepy?" Meng Yarrow pinched Yushu. "Ooh." Yushu felt the pain. "I'm more awake now. What about now?" Meng Yarrow pinched even harder. "Now. I'm sleepy, all right? I'm going to sleep," Yushu said with a grimace. "Go to sleep if you're sleepy." Meng Yarrow dragged Yushu upstairs. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he watched the two leave, but he was grateful for the misunderstanding. Lin Yi was sleeping with Xinyan to increase his strength, and Meng Yaro was very supportive of the situation. When they got back to the room, Lin Yi found that Xinyan was already asleep, lying on the bed with a sweet smile on her pretty face. She looked very calm and at ease. Lin Yi didn't think that Xinyan would fall asleep so easily in his bed. It seemed that Xinyan really believed that he wouldn't do anything inappropriate to her. Lin Yi didn't waste any time. Xinyan was being so generous, so there was no reason for him to be so unreasonable. He got on the bed and pulled Xinyan into his arms, channeling the second stage of the art of dragon mastery. Xinyan felt as if she could feel Lin Yi's embrace. The corner of her mouth moved a little, but she was still sleeping soundly. Lin Yi let out a sigh of relief. It was a quiet night, and Xinyan slept very well. She slept from 6 o'clock all the way until the sun rose. She only opened her eyes at 6 the next morning. She slept for a whole 12 hours. Xinyan woke up to find herself in Lin Yi's arms. Lin Yi was very well behaved and didn't touch any sensitive parts of her body, but it was still enough to make Xinyan sigh a little. She'd always wanted to keep her distance from Lin Yi, but she'd still been touched enough to sleep with Lin Yi last night. She hadn't thought much about it last night, but she couldn't help but think about a lot of things when she woke up today. If she were to keep this up with Lin Yi, then… Xinyan didn't dare to think about it. "You're awake?" Lin Yi asked, coming back to reality from the jade space after noticing Xinyan's movements. "Yeah." Xinyan nodded as she tried to struggle out of Lin Yi's embrace, but the little bunny on her chest accidentally rubbed against Lin Yi's arm. "Ah!" Xinyan let out a squeal. "Ah! Ooh! I didn't do it on purpose." Lin Yi blinked, smiling bitterly. "It's not your fault." Xinyan was even more embarrassed, but she felt that Lin Yi's arm wasn't going to loosen up yet. He was still on top of her rabbit. She was a little embarrassed. "You're still not letting go?" "Ooh. Okay, I forgot." Lin Yi loosened his arm unwillingly. Xinyan glared at Lin Yi, annoyed. "Don't push your luck. I really didn't do it on purpose. Plus, you were the one who moved." Lin Yi was speechless. "Stop it." Xinyan's face turned even redder as she turned her head away, not daring to look at Lin Yi. "All right, I'll stop. Thank you, Xinyan." Lin Yi thanked her from the bottom of his heart. "It's nothing. If it weren't for you taking care of me, I wouldn't have recovered yet." Xinyan thought back to how Lin Yi had been busy making medicine for her yesterday, and her embarrassment towards Lin Yi lessened quite a bit. She hesitated, but still decided to speak up. "Lin Yi, can you not tell anyone about what happened yesterday?" "Yesterday? What happened?" Lin Yi blinked, not understanding what Xinyan was talking about. It's about us sleeping together." Xinyan stuttered. Chapter 25-21. You're not planning on showing off, are you?" Xinyan said, surprised at the look on Lin Yi's face. She knew that some guys were bored, going to school after sleeping with their girlfriends. Of course, if they slept with a female classmate who wasn't their girlfriend, then they'd boast even more about how amazing they were. "Ooh, am I that kind of person?" Lin Yi didn't know if he should laugh or cry. "If I were that shallow, I'd just say that I'm living with 3 school beauties." Xinyan thought about it and agreed. Lin Yi wasn't that kind of person, was he? She wasn't worried about Lin Yi telling everyone that he slept with her, but she was worried that Jiaolong would hear about it, and Jiaolong would ask the Sky Elixir sect for help against Lin Yi. After all, they slept together during military training, and that was with their clothes on, with many classmates around them. Sleeping in Lin Yi's villa was a different story. Who would believe that they didn't do anything? "You're right, I was thinking too much." Xinyan nodded. "But I feel a lot better after a nap. Then come sleep with me tonight." Lin Yi invited. I'm fine now, right?" Xinyan said, a little flustered at Lin Yi's blatant invitation. "I bought a course of medicine, I need to consolidate it." "You're weak, not sick," Lin Yi said seriously. "Then. All right, but how long?" "Not too long. My Yu and Ling will get suspicious if I don't stay in the dorms for a long time." Xinyan agreed after some hesitation, but she was still a little worried. "Just a week." Lin Yi felt a little regretful. Xinyan still couldn't let go of her worries, it seemed. "All right." Xinyan nodded, agreeing to it. "I'll go make breakfast then. You sleep a bit more." Lin Yi said as he stood up. Do you need my help? Xinyan asked. No need. Lin Yi smiled and walked out of the room. Lin Yi made breakfast with ease. Grandma Sun and Forbert left, and Lin Yi became the Mrs. Valet again. Well, now he was the valet of the 4 misses, including Han Jingjing. Lin Yi called Meng Yarou and Yushu downstairs after making breakfast. He then called Han Jingjing and told her to bring Han Xiaoqiao over. Shu's starving. I haven't eaten anything since last night. Yarou's so mean. I'm starving to death in the middle of the night. I wanted to ask Shield Bro to make me something to eat, but Yarou wouldn't let me. She even forced me to sleep, telling me that I wouldn't be hungry if I fell asleep. Yushu complained as she went downstairs. Phut. Lin Yi didn't expect the miss to have such a funny side to her. Haha, in the end, Shu had a dream the whole night, dreaming that there was a piece of shark meat in front of her, but she couldn't eat it no matter what. Yushu said as she sat down at the table and started munching on a fried cake. It's not as good as shark meat, but it's still good enough. Shield Bro's breakfast is really good. Can't you shut your mouth with food? Meng Yarou glared at Yushu. Eat it if you're hungry. Why are you wasting time? Are you an old lady? Yushu stopped talking and started devouring the food in front of her. Xinyan only realized then that this villa was filled with joy. Yushu was a jokester, and a few words from her could make people laugh out loud. Han Jingjing came with Han Xiaoqiao soon, and Xinyan was there as well. Han Jingjing was an exception, but she didn't ask. After breakfast, the 6 went to school together in Lin Yi's 7-seater Cherokee. What Lin Yi didn't expect, however, was that Lin Yi ran into someone he didn't want to see early in the morning. It was Pin Liang. Pin Liang had just arrived at school with Xiaofu. The 2 of them lived on campus, but the environment wasn't as good as the outside. As soon as they arrived, they rented an apartment near the school and stayed there every night. Pin Liang's eyes were about to spit fire when he saw Lin Yi and Meng Yarou get out of the car. Pin Liang cursed inwardly. Look at you, Lin Yi. There are so many beauties around you, and you're only giving Meng Yarou to me. However, Pin Liang was still very magnanimous in front of Meng Yarou. He walked up to them. Isn't this Yarou and Shu? Lin Yi, it's been hard being a bodyguard for you. If you're tired, just let me fuck you. You're a loser. And you're still talking big. You lost 1,000 kwai to me yesterday, why don't you remember? Lin Yi looked at Pin Liang mockingly. I say, Pin Liang, you went to the everyday and everyday sect, why don't you remember? Your follower Zhong Naipao got beaten up by me, and you want to follow in his footsteps. Ah! Pin Liang laughed at Lin Yi's words. I say, Lin Yi, didn't you beat me yesterday? But I'm perfectly fine. Look at me now. Do I look like I'm injured? Not only can I run, but I can also jump. Look at how agile I am. Are you a monkey? Lin Yi asked as he looked at the bouncing Pin Liang. Don't talk about useless things. Pin Liang didn't mind at all. He waved his hand. Lin Yi, since we've met here, I won't waste my time looking for you. I, Pin Liang, hereby announce that I'm officially challenging you for the position of Meng Yao's personal bodyguard. What do you think? Do you dare accept? Accept? What's in it for you? The position is yours if you lose, but you get nothing if you win. Do you think everyone's as stupid as you? Lin Yi curled his lips in disdain. Then what do you think I should do? What would make you accept my challenge? Pin Liang paused. But I think you're probably afraid to accept my challenge because you're afraid of losing. You couldn't do anything to me yesterday, and it'll be the same today. I didn't even want to fight you yesterday. We're old classmates, after all. I didn't even kill Zhong Naipao, so why would I kill you? If I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead already. Why would I wait until now? Lin Yi said mockingly. Fuck. Stop bullshitting, just say it. Do you dare accept my challenge? Pin Liang panicked. I can accept the challenge, it's not that I can't, but there should be some stakes, right? Lin Yi said. If I lose, I'll give the position to you. If you lose, you have to give me something, right? What do you want? Pin Liang asked. Chapter 25-22. What? Who said I'm done? Pin Liang's heart skipped a beat as he covered his chest subconsciously. Who said my underwear? What underwear? Lin Yi looked at Pin Liang, stunned. I'm talking about that metal rod. Don't you use it to beat people up all the time? Do I even need to tell you? Oh, you're talking about the metal rod. Pin Liang breathed out in relief. He thought that Lin Yi was talking about his mid-level golden cicada underwear, and he was afraid that Lin Yi would know his secret. It was fine as long as it wasn't the mid-level golden cicada underwear. It seemed like Lin Yi didn't know his secret yet. As for the steel rod, it wasn't a bad idea to use it as a wager. After all, Pin Liang didn't think that Lin Yi had the ability to beat him. As long as he set the rules, he wasn't afraid of Lin Yi. What, you don't want to? Lin Yi found the look on Pin Liang's face funny. Says who? I'm just worried that you won't be able to win. Pin Liang waved his hand generously. All right, we'll use my metal rod as the wager. If you win, you take it. If you lose, you'll have to give up your spot. What do you think? All right, it's a deal. Lin Yi nodded. All right, Yarrow Yarrow, Shu, you guys are listening on the sidelines. You guys can be witnesses. This afternoon, we'll still be at the field where the arena was. We'll have a personal trainer competition, Pin Liang said. All right, Liangi, I'm rooting for you, but I'm rooting for Shield Bro too. Yushu's nonsense made Pin Liang depressed. He was happy with the first half of the sentence, but the second half made him realize that Yushu wasn't helping either side. Pin Liang, however, thought that this was a good thing. Yushu had always been biased towards Lin Yi, treating him as an enemy. Now that she was treating him the same, it meant that she'd improved. Pin Liang was happy again. All right, noon it is then. Lin Yi replied. Yarrow Yao, is your cold better? Pin Liang and Lin Yi agreed on a time for the match, and he shifted the topic back to Meng Yarrow. Much better, I'm fine now. Meng Yarrow nodded. Then at noon, you must come and watch the competition between me and Lin Yi. At that time, Yarrow Yarrow, you will see it with your own eyes, then you will know who is the most competent bodyguard. Pin Liang said. The most important thing for a bodyguard is to be able to take a beating. Taking a beating for the employer is the only way to protect the employer. Don't worry, Xiao Liangzi, I will bring Sister Yarrow Yarrow to watch the battle. Yushu gave Pin Liang a don't worry look before whispering, but you need to try your best, don't drop the ball at the critical moment. I won't be able to help you if you really lose. No problem, Shu sis. Don't worry, I won't disappoint you. I'll definitely win. Pin Liang was filled with confidence after hearing Yushu's words. He felt very refreshed from head to toe. The group split up in the parking lot. Lin Yi, Han Jingjing, and Xinyan went to the biology building together, while Meng Yarrow, Yushu, and Han Xiaochao went to the economics building. Pin Liang, on the other hand, had already come to school, but a self-funded student like him was only here to get a diploma. It didn't matter if he went to class or not. He went straight to the dorm with Xiaofu to prepare for the competition at noon. Jing Jing, I've sold all those elixirs, and I've contacted another supplier. If it's possible, we will make more elixirs for sale. Lin Yi didn't hide anything from Xinyan and told Han Jingjing directly. Sure, but Jingjing's alchemy skills are limited. Without Lin Yi bro's help, I won't be able to make that many elixirs. Han Jingjing said. It's fine, I'll help you. Lin Yi nodded. The three didn't say anything else and entered the classroom. Right Panhu and Zhaolong watched Lin Yi walk in with Han Jingjing and Xinyan. Anger flashed in their eyes, but they were smart enough not to cause trouble for Lin Yi. The two of them had placed their hopes on Pin Liang to cause trouble for Lin Yi. Pin Liang didn't do anything to Lin Yi yesterday, but Lin Yi didn't do anything to Pin Liang either. This meant that Lin Yi wasn't invincible yet. They had high hopes for Pin Liang, hoping that he could surprise them. What a coward, Zhaolong said in a low voice. I'm the elder brother of the Sky Elixir sect's heir, but I have to suffer like this every day, watching my fiancé get close to another man. I can't do anything about it. There's nothing we can do, Brother Kang. Just bear with it. Don't talk about cowardice. Our hidden houseu is even more cowardly. Right Panhu said gloomily. We went to the practitioner's market to buy things in the hidden houseu, but not only did Lin Yi get the things first, but Lin Yi also stole the elixir money. Right Panhu already knew that the third brother of the right was stolen by Lin Yi. He felt depressed about it. Even old Yu didn't say anything, but Right Panhu felt it was unfair. Seeing Lin Yi getting more and more domineering and gaining more and more power in the hidden houses, Right Panhu was shocked. He'd had to rely on the Ice Palace's support to get a place in the hidden house during Elder Tang's birthday banquet, didn't he? But now, a few months had passed in the blink of an eye, and Lin Yi alone was enough to strike fear into the hearts of the hidden houses. Especially the sky-class skill that Lin Yi used on the stage yesterday, it made Right Panhu's jaw drop. With that kind of power, not just the third brother of the right, any sky-class master in the hidden house you wouldn't be able to take it. It could be said that whoever was hit would be crippled. Can't we deal with this kid? Zhaolong was very sullen. He never had a good time with Lin Yi. House Kang had always been suppressed by Lin Yi, and they never had a chance to turn things around. Even if we don't deal with him now, someone else will deal with him for us. Why not? Right Panhu shook his head. Since the disciples of the Everyday and Everyday sect are involved, let him deal with it. The Everyday and Everyday sect isn't weaker than the Sky Elixir sect. In fact, they're even more evil. That's true. I hope Zhong Pingliang won't disappoint us. Zhaolong nodded. Lin Yi spent the entire morning practicing, and Pinliang, on the other hand, was already at the school. Chapter 25-23. Zhaolong was also the first to receive the news. He looked at his phone and laughed. Lil right, you're right. Pinliang really doesn't want to be left out. He's going to challenge Lin Yi this afternoon. See, that's what I said. We'll just wait and see. There's someone helping us take care of Lin Yi for now, so we don't have to do anything. Panhu Right said proudly. We'll go watch at noon. Of course we have to. Zhaolong agreed. After lunch, it was almost 12. A large number of students gathered near the gymnasium. The student council even sent some of their members to maintain order. Sparring between students wasn't forbidden by the school. It was one of the extracurricular activities. As long as both parties didn't cross the line, the school wouldn't interfere. After all, martial arts clubs, boxing clubs, taekwondo clubs, and so on often competed and sparred with each other. Pinliang was already standing on the stage, and Xiaofu was busy setting up the banners. The theme of today's banners was bodyguard battle. It looked a little silly, but it was a synonym for romance in a university. Someone was playing a guitar and setting up a flower formation in front of the girls' dorm. But it was romantic. Most of them failed, but there were some who succeeded and touched the goddess of their hearts. Of course, Pinliang did this on purpose. The goal was to create a difference from yesterday. If someone were to bring up yesterday's incident, wouldn't that mean he was cheating? He couldn't explain himself. Fuck, it's 12:20 already. Why isn't Lin Yi here yet? Pinliang looked at his watch and mumbled. I bought a watch last year. At the beginning, Pinliang stood on the stage with his hands behind his back, looking cool and cool. But that was under the assumption that Lin Yi would arrive soon. Pinliang had been standing on the stage for more than 20 minutes now. Even if he wasn't tired himself, the students below the stage were starting to get tired. Was he trying to act cool for them to see? Liang bro, didn't we agree on 12:30? There's still 10 minutes left. Xiaofu said quickly. Fuck, if I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have come so early. Pinliang was a little depressed. He found a chair and sat down, not boasting anymore as he waited for Lin Yi. However, just as he sat down on the chair, he discovered that a figure had appeared in front of him with a leap. Lin Yi had arrived. He was standing in the arena, looking down at Pinliang. Liangzi, you're quite comfortable here, right? Resting before the battle? Lin Yi said after seeing Pinliang sit down. He'd probably tormented him a little. Fuck. Pinliang almost exploded when he saw Lin Yi. This guy didn't come when he was acting cool, but came when he was sitting down? What was the meaning of this? Was this a scam? Pinliang, however, saw that Meng Yaro and Yu Shu were here as well. He didn't want to lose face and argue with Lin Yi about pointless stuff like that, so he stood up. I'm the host, so it's normal for me to come first. It's no big deal. Let's begin then. How are we going to compete? What do you think? My time is limited, and I need to go rest after I'm done with you. Lin Yi smiled, but Pinliang felt like he was asking for a beating. The rules are simple. We have half an hour from now until class starts at 1. We'll fight within that time, and whoever can beat the other up. Yes, until the other vomits blood and can't get up, that's the winner. Pinliang made sure to set the conditions. You have to vomit blood. That's it. Lin Yi smiled and nodded. All right, I'll make sure you vomit blood. Ooh. Why did Pinliang feel like Lin Yi wasn't afraid at all? That shouldn't be the case. Did he think of some killer move again? Pinliang suddenly thought of Zhong Naipao. Was Lin Yi planning to use some killer move today? No, even if it was a killer move, his mid-tier golden cicada underwear could defend against it. But, just to be safe, Pinliang added another condition. Of course, we can't kill each other. We're in school, and we can't kill each other. Don't worry, just say it if you're afraid of dying. I'm not stupid enough to kill you in front of everyone. Lin Yi curled his lips. Naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't kill Pinliang in school. Even if there was no one around, Lin Yi wouldn't kill him. Lin Yi wasn't a reckless person. Lin Yi's current strength was only enough to fight against the hidden houses. He was much stronger than before, but there was still a huge gap between him and the ancient sects. So, Lin Yi didn't want to mess with people from the ancient sects for now. I'm doing this for your own good, Pinliang said shamelessly. All right, let's begin. Everyone, be a witness. Whoever beats the other up until they vomit blood is the winner. Otherwise, you won't win even if you get knocked down 100 times. Many of the spectators had seen Pinliang's match before, and they knew what he was capable of. Even if he was knocked down, he wouldn't get hurt at all. They started whispering to each other, cursing Pinliang's incompetence. This guy was obviously very tanky, but why did he have to make such a ridiculous request? Although Lin Yi had beaten Pinliang yesterday, he was still a long way from beating him up until he vomited blood. But Pinliang didn't care what these people thought. What they thought had nothing to do with him. He only cared about Meng Yaro and Yushu's thoughts. When he saw that Meng Yaro and Yushu didn't reject his suggestion, he relaxed. It seemed like the relationship between Meng Yaro, Yushu, and Lin Yi wasn't as solid as he thought. Maybe there was a crack in their relationship, and that was why his plan went so smoothly. It seemed like as long as he beat Lin Yi, it would be easy for him to replace Lin Yi. Then I'll begin, Lin Yi said as he punched at Pinliang. This time, Lin Yi didn't use any skills at all. He only used his normal strength to punch at Pinliang. His low-tier golden cicada undershirt could only defend against attacks from people below Earth class. Earth class masters couldn't defend against them, so Lin Yi only needed to hit him normally to cripple Pinliang. Chapter 25-24. Bang! Pinliang took a punch from Lin Yi, gritting his teeth as he stared at Lin Yi in shock. You! How is that possible? How could you hurt me? Pinliang cried out in shock. Of course you're talking nonsense. You're just standing there and letting me hit you. How can it not hurt? Do you think that's realistic? Lin Yi asked back. But Pinliang didn't even get a chance to ask before Lin Yi's fist came flying at him again. Bang! Ouch! Pinliang cried out in pain as he took 2 steps back, falling on his butt. Pinliang was wearing the low-grade golden cicada undershirt, but it was useless against Lin Yi, so a simple punch from Lin Yi was enough to make Pinliang cry for his mom and dad. After all, the golden cicada undershirt's defense was strictly based on the level of chi used. It didn't matter how strong the attack was, as long as it was below Earth class, it would be able to defend against it. On the other hand, even a light punch with Earth class chi wouldn't be able to defend against it, and that was exactly what Pinliang was facing right now. Lin Yi walked over and kicked Pinliang's butt again, sending him sprawling on the ground. Impossible, this is impossible. Pinliang crawled up from the ground and looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. Aren't you an Earth class? Lin Yi ignored him and kicked Pinliang's crotch again. Pinliang cried out again as he clutched his balls and knelt on the ground, moaning and sweating profusely. Lin Yi, you're so sneaky. You can't do anything sneaky, Xiaofu called out when he saw Pinliang in trouble. TCH, what sneaky? Didn't we agree before? You just have to beat the guy until he coughs up blood, there's no rule against that. Bai Weituo retorted. Gao Xiaofu immediately shut his mouth. He was speechless. Pinliang, on the other hand, yelled for a long time before crawling up, clutching his balls. Linyi, you're a sky class? Bang! Pinliang was answered with another kick. The kick landed squarely on Pinliang's head. It wasn't enough to kill him, but it was enough to make him see stars. Pinliang didn't even have time to react before Linyi kicked him again. Linyi didn't want to kill him, so it was too easy to make him suffer. Linyi was annoyed just looking at this guy, even though it was true that he liked Meng Yao. But this person's mentality had already reached a twisted and extreme point. How could Linyi sympathize with such a person who could kidnap and was just short of rape? If he was as normal as Chen Yutian and Chen Tian, Linyi wouldn't mind giving him a fair fight. But this guy wasn't normal, and Linyi had no choice but to use abnormal methods to deal with him. Either his golden cicada undergarment had lost its effect, or Linyi had become a heaven stage expert. However, no matter which guess it was a little unrealistic. Pinliang couldn't accept it. The golden cicada undergarment was a treasure bestowed upon him by the pure yang heavenly venerable of the everyday and everyday sect. How could it fail? Moreover, it had been working well before. Why was it suddenly not working today? It didn't make sense at all. Yesterday, Linyi was still helpless against his underwear. Pinliang also couldn't accept that Linyi had become an Earth class in one day. Linyi was still an Earth class mid-phase peak yesterday, and now he was an Earth class late phase. Pinliang believed it, even when he was an Earth class late phase peak, Pinliang still believed it. But reaching Sky class in one day, it was something Pinliang couldn't accept. What kind of speed was this? Wasn't it too fast? With this speed, even if Linyi reached Heaven class late phase peak, Zhong Naipao still wouldn't be able to take revenge. They couldn't hope for revenge in this lifetime. Stop. I give up. Pinliang was on the verge of tears. Linyi's methods were very skillful. Pinliang was in a lot of pain, but it didn't cause any internal injuries. Linyi was a doctor, and he had a deep understanding of the weak parts of the human body that weren't fatal. That was why Pinliang was in such a tragic situation. And so, Pinliang didn't care about winning or losing right now. He was about to be tortured to death by Linyi, and he'd embarrassed himself enough. He knew that Linyi could easily injure him now. As long as he broke his golden cicada undergarment, Linyi could easily kill him. Pinliang guessed that Linyi didn't go all out because he was purposely torturing him, waiting for him to break down before giving him a heavy blow. As such, Pinliang might as well just admit defeat. Pinliang was curious as to how Linyi had managed to break his golden cicada undershirt, but that wasn't important anymore. The outcome was already decided, and he had no choice but to give up, no matter how unwilling he was. Oh, you haven't vomited blood yet. The match isn't over yet. Linyi sent another kick at Pinliang's butt. According to our agreement, you'll only lose if you beat the other party up until they're coughing up blood and can't get up. You haven't coughed up blood and can't get up yet, so you can't. Fuck. Pinliang clenched his teeth and bit his lip, spitting out a mouthful of blood. He lay on the ground and yelled, I vomited blood, and I can't get up. Is that okay? Pinliang's actions were met with disdain from the students below the stage. They weren't idiots. How could Pinliang vomit blood? It was only his lip that was bleeding. Wasn't this guy too shameless just because he was afraid of getting beaten up? Xiaofu was dumbfounded as well. What was going on? Wasn't Pinliang supposed to win according to their plan? How did he lose? Xiaofu, what are you looking at? Hurry up and announce the results. What are you doing? Pinliang reminded Xiaofu when he saw him staring blankly off in the middle of the arena. Ah! Oh! Xiaofu came back to his senses and yelled, I hereby announce that Pinliang wins. What? What the fuck? That's cheating. He vomited blood and he still won? Are you kidding me? Even if there's someone behind the scenes, this can't happen. Do you think we're blind or stupid? Pinliang, since Xiaofu said you won, let's continue. Linyi raised his right leg, ready to kick Pinliang. Chapter 25-25. Ah. No, Lin Yi won. I was wrong. Xiaofu quickly changed his words, realizing that he'd said the result in his mind, but the result was completely different from what he'd expected. If that's the case, then I'll be leaving. Congratulations, Liangzi, you've failed. Lin Yi smiled mockingly. Where's the rod? That's. Pinliang's heart skipped a beat as he remembered the bet he made with Lin Yi. Pinliang didn't think it was possible for him to lose the match, so he agreed without a second thought when Lin Yi asked him to use the rod as a stake. Now, however, he wasn't willing to lose it to Lin Yi. What, you want to go back on your word? Lin Yi's eyes turned cold as he lowered his voice and whispered into Pinliang's ear. You keep your promise, and I'll keep mine. If you don't, then you'll have to be careful tonight. Don't get robbed, you'll lose your rod, and you'll get killed as well. Pinliang's eyes turned cold. Pinliang was startled. That was right. Lin Yi wasn't just any normal person. He was someone who'd even cut out Jian Wen's kidney. If Pinliang broke his word, then he'd be in real danger. Of course, he didn't know that Lin Yi had reservations about killing him. From Pinliang's point of view, Lin Yi was someone who didn't care about anything. After fighting the noble houses, he went on to fight the hidden houses. Even the ancient sects Zhong Naipao and Feng Nitian were crippled by him. What did Pinliang have to make Lin Yi worry about him? It was impossible. Lin Yi could crush him like an ant. And so, Pinliang compromised. He took a deep breath and said to Xiaofu, Xiaofu, give it to him. Okay. Xiaofu was a little heartbroken, but he didn't dare disobey Pinliang's order. He didn't dare go against Lin Yi either, so he quickly passed the rod to Lin Yi. Lin Yi took the rod with satisfaction and jumped off the stage, walking towards Meng Yaro and Yu Shu. Oh, Shield Bro is the best. Liangzi, you disappoint me. It seems like you're still not good enough. Yu Shu looked at Pinliang with pity. Pinliang's vision darkened, and he almost fainted. It was over, he'd lost his chance. In his mind, Yu Shu had really supported him before, but now that he had wasted the opportunity, Yu Shu was a little disappointed in him. Yu Shu was an important middleman for him to chase after Meng Yaro, to become Meng Yao's bodyguard. If Yu Shu were to give up and not help him, then he'd be in big trouble. Let's go back to class. The miss was still a woman of few words in front of outsiders. She only said those 6 words faintly before turning around and leaving with Yu Shu. But when she turned around, Lin Yi saw the trace of a smile on the miss' lips. Haha, the miss was still the miss. This kind of personality made Lin Yi feel warm. He said goodbye to Bai Weituo, and the two walked towards the biology building. Wang Xinyan didn't join in the fun at all. She was taking an afternoon nap in the classroom. She didn't know why, but she was sleeping a lot more than usual. She was a little confused, but she didn't think too much about it. Wait. Pinliang stood up and called out to Lin Yi. Lin Yi, let's fight again if you dare. What else do you want? Lin Yi asked, carrying the rod. I lost because I didn't use my weapon. That black iron staff is my ultimate weapon. I was tricked by you and used it as a wager, but if I use it as a weapon, I can definitely beat you. That wasn't what Pinliang was thinking at all. He was thinking that Lin Yi wouldn't be able to beat him up even if he coughed up blood, so he didn't need the steel rod at all. Beating Lin Yi like how he'd beaten Tiger Wright and Pinliang with a steel rod in front of everyone was too bloody, and the school would definitely intervene. It wouldn't be a fair fight either, so Pinliang didn't use it. How could he have known that Lin Yi would be able to tear through his mid-level golden cicada underwear? Pinliang was both shocked and angered, and he couldn't care less anymore. If he didn't do something soon, Yu Shu was going to give up on him. He had no choice but to walk forward and act shamelessly again. Oh, it looks like you won't be satisfied if I don't fight you again, right? Lin Yi turned to Pinliang and asked faintly. Of course. You attacked me before, so it's my turn to attack you now, Pinliang said. All right then, since you want to get beaten up again, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Yi jumped up again and threw the rod to Pinliang. Tell me, what are the rules this time? The rules this time are whoever begs first loses. What do you think? Pinliang had the rod in his hand, and he was confident that he could beat Lin Yi until he begged for mercy. From what he could see, wasn't Tiger right and Chibbing the same? Oh, alright, but what's the stake this time? Lin Yi asked. It's the same as before. If I win, I'll replace you and become Yaoiro's bodyguard. If you win, you take this rod away, Pinliang said. Are you out of your mind? This mystic steel rod is mine now, but I'm lending it to you out of pity. Do you really think it's yours now? Lin Yi smiled coldly at Pinliang. Pinliang paused. He thought about it carefully and realized that it was true. Then, I don't have any treasures to lose to you. What do you say? How about this, if you lose, you'll announce on this stage that you won't harass Mengyaro anymore. What do you think? Lin Yi asked. No. Absolutely not. Pinliang hesitated, but his attitude was surprisingly firm. I'd rather die than be humiliated. I can't agree to this condition. Lin Yi was speechless. He didn't expect Pinliang to have a bottom line. How about this, I'll leave if I lose. Pinliang played a trick. He said he'd leave, but he didn't say he wouldn't come back. All right. Of course, Lin Yi could see the loophole in his words. But he didn't want to argue with him. The sooner the fight was over, the better. Wouldn't Xiaolong's promise be worthless? Even if Pinliang promised, Lin Yi couldn't do anything about it. Shameless people were invincible. Shall we begin? Pinliang asked. Chapter 25-26. Wah! Pinliang immediately started spinning the steel rod in his hand, covering his entire body with it. Pinliang didn't have much strength, but he was very good at using the mystical steel rod. He covered all the weak points on his body, and Lin Yi couldn't hit him at all. Lin Yi couldn't help but be amused by Pinliang's reaction. The kid really did have some talent, using defense as a fence to close in on him. But was this mystical steel rod really that good? Lin Yi didn't have the chance to test it out when he held the steel rod in his hand, but from the looks of it, Pinliang was very confident. Lin Yi threw a punch at Pinliang, but Pinliang didn't back down. He swung the steel rod at Lin Yi's arm. Bang! The steel rod smashed into Lin Yi's arm, while Lin Yi's fist smashed into Pinliang's chest. Lin Yi's punch was just a test, and it wasn't much different from before, so Pinliang could still take it. Pinliang gritted his teeth and threw the steel rod at Lin Yi with all his might, one strike after another. Bang bang bang! Lin Yi grimaced in pain from Pinliang's attacks, and couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Pinliang's steel rod was really good, able to break through a practitioner's chi protection. Of course, he didn't know if it was effective against a sky class, but an earth class Lin Yi couldn't defend against it. Of course, the steel rod couldn't do too much damage to Lin Yi. It couldn't kill him, but if he took too many hits, he would definitely get hurt. Lin Yi couldn't use his chi to defend himself, and could only take the hits passively, although, if Lin Yi clenched his teeth, he could kill Pinliang quickly. But Lin Yi's goal wasn't to kill Pinliang, he just wanted to teach him a lesson. But he couldn't do that now. Lin Yi couldn't keep punching Pinliang like before. If he did that, he would definitely get beaten up. Lin Yi frowned. Although Lin Yi used the second stage of the art of dragon mastery to heal him, Lin Yi still didn't want to be a human punching bag and get beaten up like an idiot. Lin Yi hesitated for a moment before compressing a small chi bomb and throwing it at Pinliang. Lin Yi could fire this type of bomb instantly, and it wouldn't do much damage. Pinliang was charging forward with the rod when he felt something hit his leg. It was actually the chi bomb that exploded on his leg. And so, Pinliang stumbled and fell to the ground. Lin Yi strode over and kicked the acupoint on Pinliang's wrist. Pinliang's grip loosened, and the steel rod fell to the side. Originally, the students below the stage thought that Pinliang could turn the tables after seeing his bravery. Even Xiaofu thought that he was almost going to win this time. But what they didn't expect was that Pinliang was beaten to the ground after a few moves, and Lin Yi gave him a good kick. Yushu and Meng Yaro, on the other hand, watched the stage calmly. They knew that even if Pinliang had the steel rod, it wouldn't be able to do anything to Lin Yi. The rod could break through a practitioner's chi protection, but with Pinliang's strength, he still had the strength of a normal person. It was still the power of an ordinary person. It was certain that they could hurt Lin Yi, but Lin Yi could heal himself. Unlike Zhao Qibing and Right Coiling Tiger, Lin Yi's counterattack was effective, and their counterattacks were ineffective. Therefore, Zhong Pingliang was doomed to a tragic end. Even if Lin Yi didn't use the mini chi bomb, he could still beat the crap out of Zhong Pingliang. It was just that he'd have to pay the price. Ayo, stop hitting me. Stop, I admit defeat, okay? Pingliang said helplessly. Oh, you really lost this time, right? You won't regret it, will you? Lin Yi stopped beating Pingliang. No, I really lost. Pingliang nodded and climbed up from the ground. He handed the steel rod to Lin Yi. You can have it, I lost. Lin Yi nodded and jumped off the stage with the steel rod. Lin Yi left, and so did Meng Yaro and Yu Shu. Soon, the others dispersed as well. Pingliang climbed up from the stage after Lin Yi was gone. He wasn't hurt at all. Lin Yi had held back when he hit him, and Pingliang could feel it. He blamed it on Lin Yi not wanting to cause too much bloodshed in the school. Right, Coiling Tiger, wait. Pingliang called out to Coiling Tiger, Jiaolong, Yellow Hair, and Purple Hair who were about to leave. Liang bro, what are you doing? Pingliang had just been taught a lesson by Lin Yi, but Coiling Tiger wasn't Lin Yi. He didn't have the right to be arrogant in front of Pingliang, so he stopped and turned around with a smile. But he was cursing in his heart. Pingliang, you look like you're strong, but didn't you get beaten up by Lin Yi until you cried for your mom and dad? What the hell? You can only show off in front of weaklings like us, but when you're in front of Lin Yi, you still have to admit defeat. Bully the weak and fear the strong. Fighting with Lin Yi, he wasn't as strong as before, and his weapon wasn't as good as before. How embarrassing. He and Jiaolong had placed their hopes on Pingliang to take care of Lin Yi. Purple Hair, you're the strongest, right? Come here and beat me up. Pingliang pointed at Purple Hair. Ah, me? Beat you up? Purple Hair's eyes widened as he dug his ears, thinking that he heard wrong. Liang bro, what are you saying? Are you kidding me? Of course, I'm not in the mood to joke with you. Hurry up, come and beat me up. Pingliang ordered. Purple Hair hesitated. He didn't know what Pingliang meant. Was he messing with him or did he really want to get beaten up? Liang bro, what do you mean? Explain yourself, or else Purple Hair wouldn't dare hit you. Coiling Tiger left had no choice but to ask for his subordinate. Nothing, I'm just trying to see if I can defend against his attacks. Pingliang said. Come, hit me a few times. Stop when I tell you to stop. Oh. Coiling Tiger left hesitated and said to Purple Hair. Then go, try it. All right. Purple Hair nodded and walked in front of Pingliang. He stretched out his fist and tried hitting Pingliang. Chapter 25-27. All right, I'll hit you then. Although the Purple Hair didn't use his full strength in that punch, he still used 30 to 40% of his strength. But Pingliang didn't seem to be affected at all. The Purple Hair didn't hold back and quickly punched Pingliang's body with a bang. Harder, keep hitting. Pingliang didn't feel anything and continued to order. Oh. Purple Hair was now sure that Pingliang wasn't afraid of beating him up and was here to beat him up. Although he knew that beating him up was pointless, he was still pissed off after being taught a lesson by Pingliang earlier. Hence, with the resentment in his heart, Purple Hair hit harder and harder. Right, Coiling Tiger and Blondie watched enviously. They were also victims in the past. Right, Coiling Tiger asked enviously, Brother Liang, why don't Blondie and I try hitting you too? Go ahead. Pingliang nodded without hesitation. He wanted to see how strong he was, so he agreed without hesitation. Right, Coiling Tiger and Yellow Hair were overjoyed, and together with Purple Hair, they started hitting Pingliang from all sides. However, their hands were hurting, but Pingliang was still fine, as if he wasn't hurt at all. Pan Huyu, Purple Hair, and Yellow Hair, on the other hand, were exhausted. They used all their strength but couldn't do anything to Pingliang. That's enough. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Pingliang waved his hand. His golden cicada underwear didn't work, so why didn't it work on Lin Yi? Oh. It's all right. All right. Right, Coiling Tiger reluctantly stopped. Purple Hair and Yellow Hair also reluctantly stopped. Although they were exhausted from beating people up, and their hands were sore, It felt good. They were happy in their hearts. All right, you guys can leave. There's nothing else for you guys to do, Pin Liang said to Pan Hu Yu and walked back to the dorms with Xiaofu, who had just cleaned up the arena. Pan Hu Yu and the others looked at each other and left in a hurry. Pin Liang was really strange. He didn't react no matter how they hit him, but how did Lin Yi make him cry for his mom and dad? These people did not understand, but they could only come to one conclusion, and that was that Lin Yi was too powerful, and not an ordinary person. If even Pin Liang wasn't a match for Lin Yi, then they had to be even more careful and avoid provoking Lin Yi. Brother Liang, what's going on today? Why is Lin Yi able to hit you all of a sudden? Gao Xiaofu asked curiously. I don't know, who knows? I thought my underwear was malfunctioning, but I got Tiger right and the others to test it, and there's nothing wrong with it. Pin Liang frowned. Did Lin Yi become a sky class in 2 days? That's impossible, right? How could he level up so quickly? Yeah, I also think it's a little unbelievable. Besides, Brother Liang, your advantage was so obvious just now, so why did you suddenly fall and get beaten up by Lin Yi? Gao Xiaofu recalled the strange situation from before. So she asked. Didn't Lin Yi hit my leg? Pin Liang didn't pay much attention at the time, thinking that it was Lin Yi who ambushed his leg and caused him to fall. No, Lin Yi didn't even get close to you. All we saw was that you fell out of nowhere, Liang bro. Gao Xiaofu said. No way. That weird. I clearly felt pain in my leg, like I was hit. Pin Liang thought about it and felt that Lin Yi was too weird, and couldn't be judged with common sense. He shook his head. Forget it. Let's not think about it, it seems like we were thinking too simply. Pack up, we'll be going up the mountain in 2 days to return to the everyday and everyday sec. Alright. Gao Xiaofu didn't dare say anything else. He nodded. In the hidden house Zhao, an old man came to Elder Zhao excitedly with a small box in his hand. Elder, we got a lot from the cultivator's market auction. This time. There were a lot of small chi gathering pills, and there were only 1 or 2 in the past. We couldn't even get one with our wealth, but we finally got 4 this time. Of course, this is also because we've earned a lot of money recently, and now that we have money, we're confident enough to bid. Before, we'd have to give up if the price went over 10 million. House Zhao didn't have much money in the past, otherwise they wouldn't have sent Chibing to the common world to earn money. No matter how much money Tsihua made, the money he earned had to be calculated carefully to keep House Zhao afloat. Taking out 10 million to buy pills was quite extravagant. One could say that the hidden houses weren't as rich as the common houses, and this was why House Yu was able to earn money through the common House Yu. Now, without the restraints of the Hidden Family Arbitration Association, the Hidden Zhao family began to do business in East Ocean City like crazy. With the Hidden Zhao family's connections, they easily accumulated a huge amount of wealth. Even Lei Daming had brought over 100 million to House Zhao in a short amount of time. This was also why House Zhao didn't kill him after he got into trouble, but sent him away instead. This elder was sent by the hidden House Zhao to the cultivator's market auction. His name was Elder Mion, and he was slightly weaker than Elder Bai, but he was still an Earth-class late-phase peak. It was just that he'd just broken through. Chem, small chi gathering pills, give them to Chibing, we don't need them right now. Elder Zhao waved his hand, deciding what to use for these pills. The only ones in House Zhao who had the strength to use them were Zhao Chibing and Zhao Chikuan, 2 mystics, and they were the only ones who could quickly break through to Earth class. But Zhao Chikuan, on the other hand, was sent to his death. Why would he waste the pills on him? Moreover, the name of this small chi gathering pill reminded old Zhao of the chi gathering pill he had ingested. It was Zhao Chibing's hard work that allowed him to smoothly ascend to sky class. So, if there was a chance to do something for his grandson, Elder Zhao wouldn't let it go. Chi gathering pill was something so valuable, and it was a 3rd-level pill that was hard to find. What was 10 million small chi gathering pills to him? It was fine if he gave it to Chibing. Chapter 25-28. So even if Chibing was a little weaker, he believed that after some training, he would be able to rise to the top. Plus, the world of practitioners was a world where strength was everything. Even if Chibing was a little arrogant, as long as he was strong enough, Who could say anything about it? Just like Lin Yi, how arrogant and cocky was he? But who would dare to do anything to him? And so, Chibing was lucky enough to take 4 small chi gathering pills consecutively. But it was also his luck that Lin Yi had put out so many of them in this auction. There weren't these in the previous auctions. Although the little chi gathering pill was also a second-grade pill, the materials used to refine it were more expensive. Although the cost of a single pill wasn't that much higher than other pills, it was important to know that there was a chance of the pill being scrapped. The more scrapped the pill was, the higher the cost of a single pill. Therefore, the little chi gathering pill was one of the least common pills in every auction. Usually, there would only be 1 or 2, and it would only appear once every 3 years. The hidden house. You weren't idiots. Even the Sky Elixir sect didn't have a high success rate, and there was a chance of failure. Of course, if the elder of the Sky Elixir sect did it himself, he could guarantee success, but where would the elder have the time and energy to make a normal second-level pill? These pills were made by the other elders and disciples of the Sky Elixir sect, so the success rate was naturally low. The cost was too high, and they didn't want to make too many. This way, the hidden house of the right would be able to control the number of small chi-gathering pills. They would only release a few each time, but not a lot, creating a situation where there was demand but no supply. Who would have thought that Lin Yi would break this rule? Lin Yi and Han Jingjing's pill concoction was naturally very cheap. Putting aside the fact that Han Jingjing could concoct 1 pill at a time, the two of them could even concoct a few more pills at the same time. This way, the cost wasn't a problem. Wahahaha, I didn't think that I, Zhao Chibing, could become an Earth class. Chibing took 4 small chi-gathering pills. After a day and a night of isolation, he finally became an Earth class early phase. Although he still couldn't reach Lin Yi's level, he was already very excited. Coincidentally, he became one of the cultivators with the fastest cultivation speed. Of course, apart from the good timing, the hidden Zhao family had no successor. Chikuan's participation in the Sky Elixir test was already set in stone, and it could be said that he wouldn't be coming back. Naturally, Chibing was the only one left, and he had to be nurtured. Since he had become an Earth-class master, he naturally had the right to learn martial arts, but Uncle Zhu's majestic fist wasn't suitable for him. Uncle Zhu was still injured and couldn't get up from his bed, so he couldn't teach Zhao Chibing. It seemed like he'd have to ask for some martial arts, Chibing thought. He went to his grandfather's room. His broken leg was naturally healed as well. This time, Elder Mion had bought a lot of second-level elixirs. With the circulation pill and meridian opening pill, Zhao Chibing took 1 and his leg was healed. Old Zhao was practicing when Elder Mion told him that Zhao Chibing was here. He let him in immediately. Since he'd decided to train Zhao Chibing to be his successor, he didn't hold back anymore, even if Zhao Chibing was a little arrogant. But he was still more daring than the cautious Guangyin. Guangyin may be cautious, but his personality was more than enough to protect himself, not enough to expand. The hidden noble houses now weren't the same as before. The Hidden Noble House Association only existed in name, and all the hidden noble houses were getting restless. They were plotting for greater development, and if they didn't improve now, they'd be eliminated and become a normal noble house. Hey, Chibing, you broke through? You're already an Earth-class early phase? Zhao Chibing walked in. Old Zhao was a little surprised. Thank you for the elixir, Grandpa. I didn't disappoint you and broke through to Earth-class early phase. Zhao Chibing didn't hide his Earth-class early phase chi, so old Zhao could see it with one look. Oh, you're the heir I've chosen, and I'm going to train you with everything I have. Old Zhao said. Chibing, is there something you need from me? Yes, Grandpa, I'm an Earth class now, can I learn martial arts? Zhao Chibing asked. I forgot about that. Old Zhao nodded, but the martial arts that our hidden house practices aren't suitable for you. You have a metal element body, and Elder Bai's majestic fist is a metal element martial art. But this fist skill has a flaw, and Elder Bai says that it doesn't suit you. He thinks that you should practice your feet skills because your legs are longer. That's an advantage. I see, then what should I practice? Zhao Chibing asked. Wait, I'll help you look. If it doesn't work, I'll call the Hidden House you and see if they have any good martial arts techniques. I'll get one for you, old Zhao said. Thank you so much, Grandpa, Zhao Chibing said happily. Ian, you can leave for now. I'll come find you when things are confirmed. Old Zhao waved his hand, signaling for Zhao Chibing to leave. After leaving old Zhao's house, Zhao Chibing was overwhelmed with emotions. He felt like he had to go out for a walk after leveling up. He was an Earth-class early phase now, and he should be invincible in the common world. Of course, he didn't dare to look for Lin Yi for revenge. Although he was full of confidence, he didn't explode. What he needed to do was to look for Zhong Pingliang. Although Zhong Pingliang had someone backing him, he couldn't kill him, but beating him up wasn't a problem. Since he left the mountain to train, he could only blame himself if he got beaten up because he wasn't strong enough. He couldn't blame anyone else. Even Zhong Pingliang's master wouldn't say anything. Of course, this was under the premise that he couldn't kill Zhong Pingliang. Zhao Chibing drove his Porsche Cayenne to Donghai Industry University. When he arrived at the school gate, he bumped into Zhong Pingliang and Gao Xiaofu's car. Zhong Pingliang had lost the arena, and he went back to the dorm to pack up. He was ready to go back to the everyday sect with Gao Xiaofu, but he didn't expect to bump into Zhao Chibing's Porsche Cayenne. Chapter 25-29. Lin Yi was so powerful that even he didn't dare marry his daughter to him. Although, marrying his daughter to Lin Yi was a good choice, House Yu didn't even find the ancient ruins. Everything they had now was given to them by that place, and the hidden House Yu was the representative of that place in the hidden plane. Their words were like an imperial edict to House Yu. If something happened to Yu Ning, then House Yu wouldn't be able to pay for it even if they all died. This was also why the hidden House Yu was worried that something would happen between Yu Ning and Lin Yi. They wanted to get rid of Lin Yi. And so, in order to punish Zhao Chibing, Xiao Chen took out 2 of the 5 elemental arts he had prepared, one the hardest and the other the easiest. He wanted to make it hard for Zhao Chibing so that he didn't have a choice in the middle. I see. Zhao Chibing didn't suspect anything as he nodded and accepted the 2 arts. These 2 skills, one is hard to train, but it's very strong. The other is easy to train, but it's not that strong. You choose for yourself. Xiao Chen explained. All right, thank you, uncle. Zhao Chibing picked up the simple art and flipped through it. The name of the art was, as the name suggested, able to make one's fist as hard as steel. But in reality, steel was already very strong for normal people, but for practitioners, it wasn't that hard. Zhao Chibing flipped through it a couple of times. This art was easy to learn and activate, but when he saw its power, his face turned bitter. What kind of art was this? The power it unleashed was only equivalent to 2/3 of the power of an ordinary martial skill. Did that mean that this art was much weaker than normal arts? Elder Bai's majestic fist was weaker than normal arts, but it wasn't as weak as this steel fist. It was so weak that Zhao Chibing wouldn't choose this art no matter how stupid he was. Uncle, this technique is no good, it's even weaker than our Wangba fist, it's really. Chibing smiled bitterly. Oh, that's true, but the other skill is very powerful, but you'll have to pay a price for it. Xiao Chen pointed at the other skill. Ah, I see. Chibing opened the other book and flipped through it. The name of this skill was extremely domineering, as if it was a very powerful skill, much more impressive than the Iron Fist from before. As he continued reading the introduction of the 1,000 legs, Zhao Chibing was overwhelmed with emotions. This was too amazing, too amazing. This 1,000 legs was simply heaven-defying. The first move of a martial skill was equivalent to 2 times that of a normal martial skill, and as the level increased, each move was equivalent to a normal martial skill plus 1 move. In other words, 1 move was equivalent to 2 moves, 2 moves were equivalent to 3 moves, 3 moves were equivalent to 4 moves, and so on. In this aspect, it was similar to Lin Yi's Frenzy Fire Fist. They were both top-notch skills among martial arts. Of course, Zhao Chibing's was stronger than Lin Yi's in that even a normal person could achieve the same effect. Lin Yi's, on the other hand, required a lot of practice to achieve the same effect, and Forbert evidently hadn't achieved that. Moreover, the more Zhao Chibing read, the more excited he got. This skill was amazing, the second move was equivalent to the third move, and the most important thing was that the second move could activate 2 skills at the same time. This was why the skill was called Thousand Legs. The first move could activate 1 kick, the second 2 kicks, the third 3 kicks, and so on and so forth. From this point alone, it was similar to Lin Yi's Forest of Wood's Thousand Changes. Uncle, this skill is amazing, it's exactly what I need, Zhao Qibing said as he held the book in his hands. It's amazing, but elite soldier, you should read the introduction first before you decide if you want to train in it or not, Xiao Chen said with a smile, putting on a concerned look on his face. Oh, is it that hard to learn? Zhao Qibing was prepared for this. It's fine, uncle, as long as this skill is really amazing, I'll be able to learn it no matter how hard it is. Haha, that's great, I knew you were ambitious, Qibing. That's why I'm giving this book to you. Xiao Chen laughed as he patted Qibing's shoulder. Zhao Qibing felt like he was on cloud 9 as he continued flipping through the book, but his face changed the second he read. The prerequisites for cultivating Thousand Legs were actually written like this. To learn the Thousand Legs, you must first break your legs. Break your legs 9 times to activate 1 move. What? I have to break my legs? Zhao Qibing was stunned as he looked at the prerequisites. What kind of skill was this? Why did he have to break his legs? Yeah, that's why I said it's very hard, Xiao Chen said with a heavy tone. Only by going through the hardest of hardships can one rise to the top. If you think that this training is too harsh, then you can give up on it. After all, this isn't a path that a normal person can take. You need to break your leg 9 times to activate the first stance, and the second and third are the same. The more times you break your leg, the harder it gets. You can break it yourself at first, but as time goes on, you'll have to find someone stronger to break it for you. This skill is powerful, but it's also very hard to train in. I see. Zhao Qibing hesitated as he remembered something. He was delighted. He'd broken his legs many times already, and although it wasn't enough for 9 times, he'd be able to practice it smoothly with a few more breaks. With that thought, he gritted his teeth. Uncle, I'll practice this skill. I'm someone who can take hardship. Oh. Zhao Qibing's answer surprised Xiao Chen. He thought that Zhao Qibing would give up after seeing such a difficult training method, and that the hidden house you would be able to answer to them. It wasn't that they didn't want to help, it was just that Zhao Qibing was too cowardly and didn't dare practice. Chapter 25:30. You've really decided? This isn't a joke. What if you break your leg and there's some side effects? Not only will you not be able to practice your skills, you won't even be able to stand up. Xiao Chen wasn't willing to give up as he tried to scare Zhao Qibing. Haha, it's fine, I have experience. This leg, you'll get used to it. Zhao Qibing laughed. Alright then, since you're so insistent, I have no reason to reject you. But I've already told you about the consequences, you'll have to explain it to Elder Zhao when you get back, Xiao Chen said. No problem, don't worry, uncle. Even if I break my leg, I won't drag you into it. Zhao Qibing didn't know what Xiao Chen was thinking that he was afraid of the responsibility. Xiao Chen nodded and didn't say anything else as he sent Zhao Qibing away. Zhao Qibing was in a hurry to go home, but Xiao Chen didn't make him stay. Xiao Chen looked down on Zhao Qibing from the start, someone who relied on opportunism to get to his position. He didn't have any skills at all, getting a qi gathering pill to get to where he was. Donghai, the afternoon was quiet. When school ended, Lin Yi, Xinyan, and Han Jingjing walked out of the classroom together and walked to the parking lot. Xinyan's complexion was still good, but she was a little drowsy. She'd been drinking Lin Yi's medicine in the morning and afternoon, and it felt good. Zhaolong saw Xinyan and Lin Yi together, but he didn't have any temper. All he could do was crouch in the corner and curse Lin Yi. He couldn't do anything else. Pin Liang, a disciple of an ancient sect, was beaten up by Lin Yi. Zhaolong's heart started to waver for the first time. Even if his brother Kang Mingming became an elder of the Sky Elixir sect, would he be able to deal with Lin Yi? Zhaolong wouldn't be a match for Lin Yi if he were to fight Lin Yi himself. Zhaolong had learned quite a bit from following Tiger Right, and while there were levels to refiners, they couldn't be used in battle. Their combat index was too low. Even if Kang Mingming was a Sky-class refiner, he might not be a match for Lin Yi. Plus, even the hidden Sky class of House Yu wasn't a match for Lin Yi. Unless Kang Ming brought a group of Sky Elixir Masters to deal with Lin Yi, there was no chance at all. Jiaolong felt depressed at the thought. His self-confidence had also gone from swelling to exploding at the beginning to a little disappointment now. Humans are like this. The moment they find out about something good, they will immediately rejoice. They were the most confident, thinking that they could do anything they wanted. But as time went on, after a few days, everyone calmed down and started to worry. Jiaolong was in this state. Lin Yi, naturally, didn't care what Jiaolong was thinking, as long as he didn't cause trouble for him. Lin Yi didn't bother with him. At night, Wang Xinyan slept in Lin Yi's room as usual. She even took a shower today. It was just that when she showered, she did it behind Lin Yi's back. Although she tacitly agreed to some things, she still stuck to her bottom line when it came to matters of principle. After Chen Shi returned home safely, Mother Chen decided to move. Her family's conditions were much better now. She was taken care of by Fatty Lai and entered the Miracle Doctor Guan Medical Company's Songshan branch as a warehouse keeper. This was a position that didn't require any professional skills. It wasn't tiring, and the salary was high. Usually, only people with connections to the boss could take up this position. Although he often had to work the night shift, he had a day off after working. Most of the time, he would sit in the office with his colleagues and read the newspaper to kill time. Only when the company's salespeople came to pick up the goods would he do these things, so it was easy and not tiring at all. All of this, Mother Chen was very grateful to Lin Yi, and she often told Chen Shi about it. She had to repay his kindness, and he told her to study hard to repay him. Naturally, Chen Shi knew this, but she wanted to repay him in a different way. If Mother Chen knew about this, she'd definitely scold her for not learning good things at such a young age. But there was no helping it. After spending so much time with Ziyu, Chen Shi's pure heart couldn't help but be affected. Zhao Guangyin's brief appearance made Mrs. Chen give up as well. She saw through Zhao Guangyin's ugly facade. It was clearly a scam to lure Lin Yi to his death. Mrs. Chen gave up on Zhao Guangyin completely and moved out with Chen Shi resolutely. Ziyu's place wasn't too bad, it wasn't too high class, but it wasn't too low class either. The old couple and their child were going abroad, and the two houses were for rent. Mother Chen rented one, and Grandpa Ju rented the other. Actually, Mother Chen was a bit unnecessary. Putting aside the fact that Zhao Guangyin would never appear in front of Mother Chen again, with Zhao Guangyin's personality, he'd be done with her after using her. Wouldn't he just wait for Xiaojin to go crazy if he tried to interact with her again? Moreover, with Boss Ju here, wouldn't it be the same no matter where they moved to? But after moving here, Chen Shi moved into Ziyu's house. Her reason was very good, the two of them could help each other learn. Because Mother Chen had to work the night shift sometimes, she didn't have time to take care of Chen Shi. Naturally, she didn't object to Chen Shi's decision. And so, Chen Shi's pure little brain was once again tainted by Ziyu. Shi, you're first in the exam this time. Aren't you going to report to Lin Yi bro? Ziyu said as she laid on the bed drinking milk. She kicked Chen Shi, who was reading a book. I'll call Lin Yi bro, is that okay? Chen Shi was a bit hesitant, but with Ziyu's words, she wanted to do that. What's wrong with that? Ziyu said nonchalantly. Shi, it's not that I want to criticize you, but Lin Yi bro has so many pretty girls around him. If you don't take the initiative, when will you get a chance? Haven't you heard of this saying? If you don't want to cry in a BMW in the future, you'll have to work harder now. If you don't work hard in a BMW in the future, you'll have to work harder. I don't have a BMW in the future, do I? Chen Shi was confused by Ziyu's words. I don't have a BMW, do I? Chen Shi was confused by Ziyu's words. Chapter 25:31. Chen Shi was speechless. Ziyu's theory was too strong, but she was starting to panic. Ziyu's words were all over the place, but the logic was there, wasn't it? She asked weakly, then should I make a call? Yes, go ahead. Ziyu tossed the empty milk box into the trash can and touched her chest, troubled. Why aren't my breasts growing after drinking so much milk? Chen Shi blushed at Ziyu's words. Ziyu sis, what are you talking about? Man, I say, Shi, you need to drink milk too. Lin Yi bro likes girls, Ziyu said. Look at that shoe sis beside him, how big are her breasts? Ah! Chen Shi paused and looked down at her chest. She picked up a box of milk and looked at it before putting it down again. Just when Ziyu was about to nag her again, Chen Shi picked up a box of papaya yogurt. I didn't know, Shi. You're the type of person who's always been quiet, but you're suddenly enlightened. Ziyu said, surprised. No. I like yogurt more. Chen Shi's face was burning, not daring to admit it. Oh, then you drink that strawberry yogurt. Ziyu pointed at the strawberry yogurt not far away. I. Chen Shi's face turned even redder. Haha, I'll stop teasing you. Call Lin Yi bro now, Ziyu said. Oh. Chen Shi sighed in relief as she dialed Lin Yi's number. Lin Yi was in the kitchen making medicine for Xinyan when the phone rang. He didn't even look at it, picking it up. Hello. Lin bro, I'm Shi. Chen Shi was a little nervous. Oh, it's Shi. Haha, I've been busy lately and didn't have time to pay attention to you and Ziyu's studies. How are you? Can you get used to the high school curriculum? Lin Yi asked. Lin Yi hadn't gone to middle school, but he'd heard Meng Yaro talk about it from time to time. The curriculum of middle school and high school were different. The difficulty of high school suddenly increased, and some students would not be able to adapt for a period of time. Sis Ziyu and I are both fine. Chen Shi didn't know what to say to Lin Yi when Lin Yi took the initiative to talk about her studies. Chen Shi was very happy and went along with Lin Yi's words. I got first place in my cohort this time, and Ziyu sis is really good too. His fifth in the cohort. Oh, so powerful. Lin Yi was surprised that Chen Shi got first place. To be honest, Lin Yi wasn't that surprised. After all, Chen Shi was a good student, but Ziyu was fifth in the whole year. She was quite shocked. You didn't copy it, did you? Chen Shi paused, stuttering after a while. I'm first. Copy? Who did you copy? No, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about Ziyu. Lin Yi said. Lin Yi bro, am I that bad? Can't I study well? Ziyu had been eavesdropping on the side and suddenly heard Lin Yi doubting her results. She wasn't happy. Why don't you trust me? I'm just saying. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. How about this, I'll go to Songshan and treat you guys to a meal when I'm free. Keep it up. Chen Shi heard that Lin Yi was coming. She was very happy. Then I'll hang up first, Lin bro. Alright, bye. Lin Yi hung up. Chen Shi held the phone, her face red. She breathed out in relief. She was so nervous. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you say anything? You hung up just like that. Really? Ziyu said angrily. Then what's there to say? Didn't we already say it? Chen Shi asked carefully. Say what? Just say it. You really don't know how to treasure opportunities. Ziyu said helplessly. Then I'll call back. Chen Shi didn't know what to do. Call back. What did you say? Ziyu was amused. I don't know. Chen Shi didn't know what to say. Forget it. Next time I say something, you learn it. If I don't help you, you'll cry for the rest of your life. Ziyu said. Okay, thanks, Ziyu sis. Chen Shi nodded seriously and said gratefully. Ziyu stood up. I'm going to shower and sleep. After hanging up, Lin Yi wasn't feeling very calm. Hearing Ziyu's voice, Lin Yi felt like there was a rock pressing down on his heart, reminding him of Armadillo. Picking up the phone, Lin Yi called Dafeng bro. How was it going? Did he have complete control over Red Conch's forces in the country? Could he find out about Red Conch's stronghold overseas? Could he find out about Armadillo? Mr. Lin. The phone rang 4 or 5 times before it was picked up. Dafeng bro's respectful voice came through. Dafeng, how's it going? You've become the big boss, right? Lin Yi asked faintly. Thanks to Mr. Lin, I became the leader of the Red Conch country's stronghold. At this point, Big Brother Feng's voice paused for a moment before he smiled bitterly. However, there's a problem. Oh? What do you mean? Lin Yi asked. I've already paved the way for you, and you still can't handle it. Mr. Lin, there's nothing I can do. Maybe HQ doesn't trust me to have full authority, so while they didn't promote the second and third bosses, they sent a strategist over from HQ. He's called a strategist, but he has the same amount of authority as me. I have to discuss everything with him, and he's from HQ, so his words are more important than mine. Darfeng Bro said helplessly. He's the one making most of the decisions in Red Conch right now, and I can't even interfere. Oh? Is that so? Lin Yi frowned. It seemed like he'd thought things were a little too simple. He'd thought that Darfeng Bro would be able to take over after killing the leaders of the Red Conches, but he didn't think that the headquarters would send a parachute. However, when he thought about it carefully, it was understandable. In the past, the Red Conch stronghold was controlled by 3 heads. Now, only Big Brother Da Feng was left. Whether it was out of trust or to check and balance Big Brother Da Feng's power, it was normal for the headquarters to send another person. Chapter 2532. If that's the case, then endure it for a while and see if there's a chance to get rid of him, Lin Yi said after a sigh. Boss, I can't get him to my side. He's the strategist from HQ, and it's a waste of his talent to come here. He's so arrogant and doesn't treat me as the boss at all, making all the decisions. Darfeng Bro said bitterly, and he's a sky class, how am I supposed to get rid of him? Normal people can't get rid of him. Lin Yi was startled. He didn't expect this strategist to be this strong, being a sky class. This was out of Lin Yi's expectations. Lin Yi thought about it and said, all right then, endure it and preserve your strength. Just don't let him get rid of you, I'll think of something. Okay, boss, I'll be careful, Darfeng Bro said quickly. Lin Yi hung up and shook his head. It seemed like things weren't going as smoothly as he had imagined. Darfeng Bro didn't have any power in Red Conch, and in fact, he wasn't even as good as the boss of the bar. He was the boss in name, but his power was all taken away by the strategist. But it was no wonder that this strategist was sent by HQ, and he was a strategist in HQ, and he was a sky class as well. Why would he care about an earth class like Darfeng Bro? It seemed like he had to think about the pangolin carefully. If he really couldn't do it, then Lin Yi would have to find a chance to get rid of the strategist. He wondered how strong he was at sky class. But no matter what, as long as he was at sky class, he wouldn't be too weak. If he was at sky class, then unless Lin Yi ambushed him or used a chi bomb, Lin Yi didn't have much confidence in winning. So Lin Yi wasn't in a rush. He had to find the pangolin, but he had to plan before he acted. He'd be an idiot if he acted rashly. Ziyu would blame Lin Yi for taking the risk even if she knew the truth. Xinyan had just finished her shower when Lin Yi was done brewing the medicine. Her body had the faint scent of a young girl and her body wash, and Lin Yi couldn't help but take a deep breath. Lin Yi couldn't get enough of this scent. Every time he inhaled it, he felt energized. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Yi knew that this scent was good for training, he wouldn't have been able to get enough of it. He almost thought it was a drug. Xinyan was wiping the water droplets off her hair when she realized that Lin Yi was standing beside her, sniffing at her scent. Ah, what are you doing? Ah, I'll get you the medicine. Lin Yi said awkwardly. We'll talk about it when we get in the room, it's not good to do it here. Xinyan lowered her voice as she glanced at Meng Yaro and Yushu, who were watching TV not too far away. Ha, all right. Lin Yi handed the bowl to Xinyan. Xinyan felt a little sleepy after drinking the medicine. Lin Yi's medicine had a hypnotic effect as well, so Lin Yi didn't think too much of it. After Xinyan went to sleep, Lin Yi said goodbye to Meng Yaro and Yushu before entering the room as well. At first, Lin Yi wanted to study the mystical steel rod, but now it seemed that training was more important. Lin Yi wasn't sky class yet, so there was no point in studying weapons. Even if the mystical steel rod could break through a practitioner's chi protection, it was only effective against low-leveled practitioners. It could be used against people like Tiger Wright and Zhao Qibing who didn't have much battle experience, but against those experienced practitioners, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to use it. Wouldn't they try to dodge or snatch it if they saw that it could break the chi barrier? So this thing wasn't very useful to Lin Yi at the moment. Lin Yi couldn't use it at all against practitioners below sky class, and if Lin Yi used it to fight against practitioners above sky class, it would be asking for a beating. They could send Lin Yi flying with just a weapon infused with chi. There was no use for it at all. Lin Yi got onto the bed and hugged Xinyan gently. He activated the second stage of the art of dragon mastery, preparing for a new night in pain and happiness. The pain was because he couldn't touch the beautiful girl in his arms, and the happiness was because his strength was improving rapidly, that place. The Xianchen ancestor looked at Taganlong on the sickbed, his heart filled with anger. Even the Xuanzhen ancestor couldn't do anything about it. Taganlong's injuries were too serious, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that his life was hanging by a thread. He didn't know who was so vicious as to turn the chess piece of his important plan into such a state. Even if other than Taganlong, that place had also prepared a hidden one, this had been planned for decades after all, and failure was absolutely not allowed. But even so, the crippling of the Ming-Zi had an impact on the plan that couldn't be ignored. Although there was a hidden one, the hidden one had a huge flaw. Not to mention his physique, there was a huge flaw in his cooperation with other inheritors. That was why the Xianchen ancestor was so angry. Second brother, is there really no way to save Taganlong? The Xianchen ancestor asked unwillingly. There's no way. The Xuanzhen ancestor shook his head. At least there's no way for now. I'm also looking through some ancient books, but in general, there's still hope. Sigh. The Xianchen ancestor sighed. That day is getting closer and closer. If Taganlong can't wake up before then we can only use the hidden one. Third brother, you don't have to worry too much. I'll work hard. The Xuanzhen ancestor said. If big brother, the Xianchen ancestor's expression suddenly changed, and he became a little embarrassed. All right, third brother, I don't blame you. The accident back then was just an accident. You don't have to blame yourself. Although big brother hasn't contacted us all these years, he hasn't forgotten the ancestral teachings that master left behind. He's also preparing for our sect to return to that level. The Xuanzhen ancestor said, Big brother is also working hard to find a wood element inheritor. I'm fine. The Xianchen ancestor smiled a little unnaturally. It's okay. If it really doesn't work, then we'll use the hidden one. I hope this time, the hidden one won't let us down. The hidden one is still fine. It shouldn't let us down, the Xuanzhen ancestor said. As the two of them were talking, a disciple outside the door shouted, Master, Martial Uncle, I have something to report. Little one, come in, the Xuanzhen ancestor said when he heard the voice outside. Yes, Martial Uncle. The person who walked in was the Xianchen ancestor's eldest disciple. Chapter 25:33. Master, your disciple was about to report this. Little one said, according to your arrangements, I've done my investigation. The everyday sect's disciple Zhong Naipao was heavily injured in the Ice Palace's test, and has been in isolation on the mountain for a while now. He hasn't left the mountain at all, nor has he been to the Wulong Heoti Mountains. Yes, I've known about this when the everyday sect denied it. I knew that it wasn't him. The Xianchen elder waved his hand, indicating for little one to continue. The everyday sect was also a sect that had retreated from that level, and had a long history. In terms of overall strength, they weren't afraid of that place, so if they said they didn't have it, then that meant that they didn't. But Zhong Naipao hasn't been in the sect for long, and his name is only known in his sect. Other ancient sects, other than the Ice Palace, don't know about this person. Little one said, if the person who injured Taganlong said Zhong Naipao's name, then it could be a hidden house, the Ice Palace, or an enemy of Naipao in the common world. It shouldn't be anyone else. Ice Palace? Impossible. The Xianchen elder waved his hand and said faintly, the Ice Palace is of the same lineage as us, and they know a thing or two about our future plans. It's not very detailed, but at least they wouldn't go against us. Little one nodded quickly. Yes, then master, what should we do now? Go investigate two things right now. One, who did Zhong Naipao offend in the Ice Palace test, and how did he get this injury? Secondly, we need to find out where Naipao's hometown. After that, we'll see if we can find the two murderers. The Xianchen elder ordered, especially that girl who took the treasure, see if she's from Naipao's hometown. Yes, master. Xiao Yi nodded quickly after listening. Okay, go. The Xianchen elder waved his hand and let little one leave. Lin Yi didn't mean to frame him back then. He didn't think too much about it. He didn't expect Patriarch Black Earth's intelligence to be so high. He thought of many things based on this clue and quickly investigated him. Early the next morning, Lin Yi carefully put down the sleeping Wang Xinyan and walked to the kitchen. Xinyan didn't wake up today. She didn't sleep too early before. Plus, it was only 5 in the morning. It made sense that Xinyan wasn't awake yet. Meng Yarou and Yushu came downstairs after they finished preparing breakfast. Xinyan was the last to wake up, yawning as she walked out of the room. Wow, Shield Bro, why is Sister Xinyan so sleepy? Didn't you guys sleep early? What did he do in the middle of the night? Yushu asked, surprised. Xinyan's face reddened. She knew what Shu meant. However, she really didn't get up to do anything. She was really sleepy. However, Xinyan knew that explaining was just covering up. The more you tried to explain, the more it showed that you were guilty. She blushed but didn't say anything. I did it, all right? Lin Yi said with a smile. Lin Yi said that to break the awkward atmosphere. Oh, you really did it. Yushu's eyes widened. Shield Bro, hurry up and tell Shu, what did it feel like? Bang! Meng Yarou smashed the fresh milk bottle on Yushu's head, causing her to fall to the ground and cry out, I'm just teasing you, you're serious? If you really think that, just do it with Lin Yi and you'll know. Yushu cried, holding her head as she got up from the ground. There's a bump on my head. Yarou Yarou is too cruel. Hurry up and eat. Meng Yarou took a deep breath. Although she had accepted Xinyan and the fact that Lin Yi was looking for a big wife, she was still a little angry when she heard that Lin Yi and Xinyan did it. Although she knew that Lin Yi was probably joking, she couldn't help but get angry. However, he couldn't help but get angry, so Shu became his punching bag. Poor unlucky Shu. Oh, Yarou Yarou's on her period these days. Yushu covered her head and whispered to Lin Yi. Lin Yi was a little puzzled. Why was the miss so angry so early in the morning? Xinyan paused, believing Yushu's words. She sympathized with her, getting a bump on her head early in the morning. Han Jingjing and Han Xiaochao came, and no one brought up the topic again. They ate breakfast together and drove to school. Zhao Qibing returned to the hidden house Zhao overnight and went to visit old Zhao. Although old Zhao was a practitioner, he was old, and the qi in the outside world wasn't as abundant as in Lin Yi's jade space. He needed to sleep at night, but he still went to see Zhao Qibing after knowing that he was back. Grandpa, I'm back. After Zhao Qibing entered the room, he respectfully took out the technique he got from House Yu and presented it to Elder Zhao. This is the technique I got from the hidden House Yu. Not bad. Old Zhao nodded in satisfaction. He was pleased that Zhao Qibing took out the technique as soon as he came back. He said to Elder Mion, go make a copy and put it in our hidden house Zhao's library. Yes, old master. Elder Mion took the manual from Zhao Qibing and went to the back room to copy it down. How was it? You didn't cause any trouble at the hidden house did you? Old Zhao asked. There wasn't much trouble, the process was smooth. My uncle gave me 2 manuals, one easy and one difficult, Qibing said honestly. That's right, it's not that troublesome. Oh. Then did you get the easy one or the hard one? Old Zhao raised a brow. I got the hard one, and although it takes a lot of effort to practice it, it's quite powerful after mastering it. Zhao Qibing said, because I know one thing, and that is, only by going through the hardest of hardships can one rise to the top. Chapter 2534. Grandpa, this skill is called 1,000 kicks, it's insane. The first form is twice the strength of a normal skill, and as the level increases, each form is equal to a normal skill plus 1 form. In other words, 1 form is equal to 2 forms, 2 forms are equal to 3 forms, 3 forms are equal to 4 forms, and so on. Most importantly, the second form can activate 2 skills at the same time, and that's why it's called 1,000 kicks. The first form can activate 1 kick, the second 2 kicks, the third 3 kicks, and so on. Qibing explained. Oh, it's that powerful? Old Zhao's eyes widened. He didn't think that the hidden house would be so generous, giving Zhao Qibing such a powerful technique. He was afraid that the hidden house would give him a normal technique to fool Zhao Qibing. It's powerful, but it's troublesome to practice. Qibing smiled bitterly. The prerequisite is, to practice 1,000 kicks, you must break your legs first, and you must break your legs 9 times to activate 1 form. What? In order to practice this martial art technique, He has to break his leg. Old Master Zhao was stunned. No way, right? Isn't that the same as hurting yourself? Yeah, but I think that breaking my legs 9 times isn't that much. Grandpa, you forgot that my legs have been broken many times already. It doesn't matter if I break them a few more times. Chibing said, plus, I heard that some people even castrate themselves to practice. That's true. Old Zhao nodded, but there aren't 9 times, right? I think there were 5 times. What about the rest of the times? I'll just break my own legs. Pin Liang started regretting it all of a sudden. He'd probably have broken his legs again if he'd kept showing off to Lin Yi with Elder Bai back at the hotel. Breaking one leg was one less chance for him, and he still had to worry about his broken legs. Not bad, you're ambitious, very skillful. That's my grandson. Old Zhao was very pleased and gave him a thumbs up. He said, Chibing, I've been observing you for a while now, but I realized that you're a child who likes to enjoy life. Although you've contributed a lot to the hidden Zhao family, contributions are contributions. I don't know if you can shoulder the responsibility of the family, so I've been hesitating. But today, after listening to your words, I understand your ambition. You are a child who can endure hardship. This 1,000 legs is very powerful. As long as you master it, your strength will definitely increase greatly. Our hidden Zhao family is very powerful. There's hope for the future. Zhao Chibing was pleasantly surprised after hearing his grandpa's words. He didn't think that he would be so lucky. Because he had broken his legs too many times, he had chosen a martial technique. Unexpectedly, it had become Old Man Zhao's determination to choose him as the young patriarch. This made Zhao Chibing feel lucky. If it wasn't for the fact that his legs were broken by Lin Yi so many times, he wouldn't have chosen this self-torturing technique. It was precisely because his legs were broken that he was used to it. Grandpa, don't worry, I will train hard and lead the hidden house Zhao to glory, Chibing said respectfully. Yes. Then you go back first, I want to rest. Old Master Zhao said. Wait, Grandpa, I have something important to discuss with you. Chibing said. Oh, is there anything else? Asked Old Man Zhao. Grandpa, when I went to the hidden house I fell in love with Uncle's daughter, Cousin Yu Ning. I was wondering if I could ask Uncle for her hand in marriage. Let me marry Cousin Yu Ning, then we'll be even closer, Chibing said. I see. Old Zhao didn't show any signs of disgust or happiness, he only nodded faintly. I understand, I'll think about it. Logically speaking, this is a good thing, but I don't know if the hidden house will agree to it. You know, because of the chi gathering pill, we're not on good terms with the hidden house I'm very surprised that you were able to get the martial arts technique this time. If we were to propose, I'm afraid that the hidden house would reject it, and it wouldn't look good on our hidden house Zhao's face either. Yes, Grandpa, that's why I didn't ask the hidden house directly, I wanted to discuss it with you. Chibing's heart skipped a beat. He really had that intention this time. The hidden house princess was not only beautiful, she was like a fairy tale girl. Most importantly, if he married Yuning, then the position of the young master of House Zhao would be secure. Wasn't that the case with his father, Zhao Guangyin? You go back first, I understand. Old Man Zhao waved his hand, indicating that Chibing could leave. Yes. Chibing didn't dare to say anything else and quickly left. In fact, Old Man Zhao and Chibing had the same thought. He also thought that if Chibing could marry Yuning, then he would be able to push Chibing to the top, and there would be less resistance. So, this matter could really be manipulated. After Chibing went back, he took out the 1,000 kicks technique and started to study his legs. Breaking his legs 9 times, wasn't that a bit too cruel? Normal people wouldn't be able to do that, but in order to practice this technique, Chibing had to break both his legs. Chibing found a large hammer, gritted his teeth, closed his eyes, and smashed it towards his legs. Bang! Ouch! Chibing cried out in pain, but his legs didn't break. Other than a bruise, there was no other injury. Chibing was an Earth-class early phase master now, after all. He had pure chi to protect his body. When he was hurt, he unconsciously used his pure chi to protect his body, but after this hammer hit, his legs didn't break, but he was in so much pain that he was sweating profusely. Damn it, It hurts so much. This broken leg is not something that can be broken by an ordinary person. Chibing clenched his teeth in pain. He saw how easily Lin Yi broke his legs, but it wasn't easy for him. It seemed like this was a skill as well. Chibing waited for a while before gritting his teeth and raising the hammer once more. This time, he tried to avoid using pure qi to protect himself. Another loud bang sounded, and Pinliang let go of the hammer with a howl, clutching his leg as he jumped around on the ground. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Did it break this time? Chapter 25-35. Whatever, I'll go find Lin Yi tomorrow morning. His experience. Chibing tossed the hammer aside and limped to his bed. As for practicing, he didn't do it often. Why would he need to practice if he had pills? Pills were precious, but House Zhao was working hard to train him, so maybe he'd be able to buy better pills in the future. Above the minor qi gathering pill was the qi gathering pill. However, legend had it that above the minor qi gathering pill, there was another type of pill that could increase one's strength after taking it. However, the pill recipe for this type of pill was already extinct, so it rarely appeared in the cultivation world. Some were found in some ancient ruins and were not easily sold. Although this pill was a second-grade pill, it could only be refined by a cultivator who had reached the peak of the second grade. Even so, it was easier to refine than the third-grade qi-gathering pill. It was just that no one could refine it because they didn't have the recipe. The next morning, Chibing was waiting at the entrance of Donghai Engineering University. He saw Lin Yi's jeep coming from afar and quickly ran over, blocking Lin Yi's car. "Stop the car!" Chibing yelled. If they weren't in front of the school, Lin Yi would have hit the gas pedal already. Was this guy sick in the head? "What are you doing?" Lin Yi stopped the car and looked at Chibing coldly. "Get the fuck out, I don't want to beat you up today. I'm going to class." "No." Chibing yelled. "Did you take your medicine today? You think you're strong just because you're an Earth class early phase? Do you want to follow in Elder Bai's footsteps?" Lin Yi frowned, but he was surprised that Chibing had suddenly become an Earth class early phase. Did he eat all the small qi gathering pills he sold? I don't want to." Chibing jumped. He came here to break his legs, not to become a cripple. If he became like Elder Bai, he wouldn't be able to train his legs anymore. He'd just lie in bed and wait for death. "Then why are you still here?" Lin Yi felt that there was something wrong with Chibing today. Actually, my leg is a little itchy. Can you break it for me?" Chibing hesitated and said. Lin Yi looked at Chibing and frowned. "It's not that you didn't take your meds, you took the wrong ones. Hurry up and get lost, don't talk nonsense here." "Boss Lin Yi, I didn't say anything strange. My leg is really itchy and I want to break it. Can you help me?" Chibing panicked. Why wasn't Lin Yi angry today? Logically speaking, Lin Yi would have long been angry if she came to show off in front of him. "If your legs are itchy, break them yourself. Don't look for me." Lin Yi started the car and charged towards Chibing. Chibing was an Earth class early phase anyways, as long as he didn't catch him off guard. He had pure qi protecting his body, and the car wouldn't be able to kill him. Don't. Chibing jumped when he saw Lin Yi driving his car into him. He quickly dodged, but he remembered that he was an Earth class early phase master, and the car wouldn't be able to kill him. He wasn't willing to give up and jumped onto the hood of Lin Yi's car. "Boss Lin Yi, if you don't agree, I'll keep hugging your car and not let go. I'll follow you wherever you go until you agree. Are you a pain in the ass?" Lin Yi was pissed as well. He stopped the car and grabbed Zhao Chibing's collar, pulling him out of the car and throwing him on the ground. "You're not letting go of my car, are you?" "Yes. I won't let go until you break my leg." Chibing started singing shamelessly. "I just won't let go, 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 won't let go here though." "Alright, I got it." Lin Yi walked to Chibing's side and raised his foot, and under Chibing's happy and joyful gaze, tragedy struck. Lin Yi's foot wasn't on Chibing's legs, but on Chibing's arms. With two crisp cracking sounds, Chibing's arms were broken by Lin Yi. "Oh my god, it hurts so much." Chibing howled in pain after losing both his arms. "Now that your arms are broken, Let's see how you're going to hold on to my car. With that, Lin Yi went back to the car and ignored Chibbing. He started the car and drove into the school's parking lot. Wahahaha, I'm dying of laughter. Yushu saw the whole thing from the car and burst into laughter. Chibbing's so happy now, he wanted to break his legs, but now his arms are broken. Mengyaro didn't know what to say. Chibbing was just too unlucky, running into someone like Lin Yi who didn't play by the rules. It was destined to be a tragedy, but she was a little confused. Chibbing isn't an idiot. Why would he suddenly come up with such a stupid request? I'm not sure, but it must be something good for him. Otherwise, he'd have to be crazy. Lin Yi said faintly. He didn't care about Chibbing at all, but he didn't want to listen to his orders for no reason. So, instead of breaking Chibbing's legs, Lin Yi broke his arms. After parking the car, Lin Yi, Han Jingjing, and Xinyan went to the biology building for class, while Meng Yaro, Yushu, and Han Xiaochao went to the economics building. Only the tragic Chibbing was left lying in front of the school gate, moaning in pain. His arms were broken, and he couldn't even call his family to pick him up. Pinliang and Xiaofu went back to their place and packed their stuff. Before they left, they passed by the school gate, and Xiaofu paused when he saw someone lying there. Liang bro, why's there someone lying there? Who cares, let's go. I can't wait another minute, I'm going up the mountain, Pinliang said impatiently. Oh, okay. Hey. Liang bro, that person. Xiaofu called out in surprise when the car got closer. Are you done? Pinliang slapped Xiaofu's face. Don't you think it's embarrassing enough? I got beaten up by Zhao Chibbing from a hidden house. I'm going up the mountain to get my master's help and get revenge. Xiaofu covered his face, feeling wronged. Liang bro, that person on the ground is Zhao Chibbing. What? Pinliang froze, enraged. Why didn't you say so earlier? Stop the car. Chapter 2536. Gao Xiaofu thought to himself, you're the one who didn't let me say it, you even gave me a slap. I'm so unlucky. But he only said it in his heart, not daring to say it to Pinliang. Otherwise, he'd get another slap. Pinliang didn't wait for Xiaofu's explanation and jumped out of the car. As expected, he saw Chibbing howling in pain in front of the school gate, his arms bent unnaturally. He didn't know what was going on, but he was sure that he was injured. It was a godsend. Pinliang was overjoyed as he sprinted over and kicked Chibbing's face. You motherfucker, aren't you supposed to be so strong? Aren't you strong? You're finished too, aren't you? Chibbing was thinking that he'd get up and run back to his house after his arm got better, but he didn't expect a leather shoe to step on his face. It wasn't that painful, but it gave him a fright. Who's there? Chibbing turned his head and saw Zhong Pingliang. He quickly used his pure energy to protect his body. Zhong Pingliang, why are you here again? Chimph, I've finally found your weakness, haven't I? Weren't you going to beat me up? Aren't you very strong? Why aren't you acting now? Pinliang laughed as he continued to kick Chibbing's face. But this time, Chibbing had pure chi protection, so he could defend against Pinliang's attacks. Even if my arm is broken, you can't do anything to me. Lin Yi won your weapon, what can you do to me? Chibbing knew about this as well, so he wasn't afraid at all. Pinliang kicked for a long time before remembering that Chibbing was an Earth-class practitioner with pure chi protection. Lin Yi could beat him up, but he couldn't do anything to him. He was a little depressed. But then, Pinliang had an idea. He saw Chibbing's bent arm and stepped on it. Hiss. Chibbing took in a cold breath, cold sweat dripping down his back. Although he had true chi to protect his body, he only used it to protect his body. Pinliang's attack was ineffective against him, but the broken arm was different. Although the force of the attack was negated, Pinliang's kick caused Chibbing's arm to shift. The arm was broken in the first place, and shifting it would naturally cause more pain. Pinliang was overjoyed to see that it worked. She kept kicking Chibbing's wounds, but Chibbing was a practitioner after all, he could still endure the pain. It was just a simple injury, so he scoffed, if you want to torture me like this, go ahead. It's just a little pain, I can still endure it, you can continue. Chibbing said. Pinliang, on the other hand, lost interest. In fact, he was a little annoyed. He could tell. Chibbing was in pain, but it wasn't to the point where he was going to cry for his mom and dad. Pin Liang lost interest and let Chibbing go, a little depressed. He turned back to the car. Drive over him. Pin Liang was depressed. He wanted to disgust Chibbing. He knew that he couldn't run over him, but it wouldn't feel good to be run over. Okay, Xiaofu quickly started the car. The car ran over Chibbing's body. Chibbing had true qi to protect his body, but there were still wheel marks all over his body. He was very depressed. However, when he saw the position of the wheel print, he felt a chill run down his spine. Chibbing was about to cry. Fuck, isn't this my leg? If I didn't use true qi to protect myself, wouldn't my leg have been crushed by the car? At that thought, Chibbing quickly called out, wait. Pin Liang frowned. He stuck his head out of the window and looked at Chibbing, impatient. What? You haven't had enough of being run over yet. Do you want to be run over again? Yes. That's it. Zhao Chibbing quickly nodded. Just reverse the car and come back, just like before, aim at my legs and run over. Are you crazy? Alright, I'll satisfy you then. Pin Liang didn't know what Chibbing meant, but he ordered Xiaofu, reverse the car and roll back the way we came. Yes, Liang bro. Xiaofu thought that Chibbing's brain had gone haywire. Was there something wrong with him? Why was he asking someone to roll over him? Was there something wrong with him? But he carried out Pin Liang's order with determination, reversing the car and rolling it back. But Gao Xiaofu wasn't Chibbing, he wasn't a professional racer. His driving skills were passable, but he wasn't as accurate as he was when reversing. As a result, when the car went over Chibbing's body, it went over Chibbing's feet. Ouch! Chibbing howled in pain, almost going berserk. Fuck you, Zhong Pingliang. I told you to roll over my leg, why did you roll over my feet? He didn't use true qi to protect himself this time, so both his feet were fractured. The pain was unbearable, but he was more angry than anything else. Why are you so nosy? Pin Liang's status wasn't the same as before. He didn't dare talk back to Lin Yi, but Chibbing was different. As far as he was concerned, he was just a disciple of the hidden house Zhao. What was he trying to do? Pin Liang was getting impatient. Gao Xiaofu, drive. Ignore him. Yes, Liang bro. Xiaofu replied quickly as he started the car and drove forward. When Chibbing wasn't paying attention, the car ran over his feet once more, and it was too late for him to use pure qi to protect himself. His broken bones were even more serious now, and he couldn't even stand up anymore. He'd probably have to crawl back to the hospital. Zhong Pingliang, just you wait. You'll die when I master my 1,000 legs. Chibbing cursed in his heart, but he didn't dare to say it out loud. Pin Liang's car sped away, disappearing in front of the school gates. Chibbing, on the other hand, was extremely gloomy. Today was his unlucky day. Chibbing regretted not looking at the almanac. Why was he so unlucky? Originally, he wanted to stand up and run back after resting, but his legs couldn't run anymore. Therefore, he could only crawl. However, crawling back would embarrass him and the hidden Zhao family. How could he stay in East Ocean City in the future? Chibbing, who was in despair, suddenly saw a familiar face, sitting in a sports car heading his way. It was Pan Hu. Coiling tiger right, Chibbing shouted. Chapter 2537. First I got beaten up by Lin Yi, then Zhong Pinliang. Chibbing didn't have anything to hide from Tiger Right Hand. He'd be able to find out if he wanted to, so Chibbing told him the truth. You're really unlucky then. Pan Hu Right didn't gloat, but felt pity for him. After all, these two were people he couldn't afford to mess with. He was just as unlucky to meet them. Yeah, can you give my family a call? Let Elder Mion pick me up, I can't go back, my arms and legs can't move anymore. Chibbing smiled bitterly. Do me a favor, and I won't mind you calling me to get beaten up. We'll forget about our grudges. Sure. Pan Hu Right agreed quickly. He didn't want to start a feud with Chibbing. He was forced by Zhong Pinliang, so he tricked Chibbing to get beaten up. Now that he had a chance to ease the tension, he wouldn't be stupid enough to give it up. Pan Hu Right followed Chibbing's instructions and made a call. Now, do you need my help? No need, I'll just wait for a bit. Chibbing shook his head. Thank you. You're welcome. Panhu Wright was just being polite and let Blondie drive into the school. After a while, Elder Mion rushed over and brought Chibbing back. After understanding the truth of the matter, Elder Mion's face was filled with helplessness. He gave Chibbing a small recovery pill. The hidden house Zhao still had a lot of these second-level pills, and they all came from the practitioner's market. Zhao Chibbing, who had returned to normal, went to Elder Zhao in a depressed manner. Chibbing, what's wrong with you? Didn't you say you could break your own legs? Why did you go to Lin Yi? Elder Zhao asked, not looking too good. Chibbing was fine, but he'd lost the face of House Zhao. Grandpa, I had no choice. I tried a few times yesterday, but it didn't work. You need a lot of courage to hit yourself. Chibbing smiled helplessly. Lin Yi was the one who broke my legs, clean and neat, so I thought of going to him. Who knew this guy wouldn't play by the rules and broke my arms? Chibbing smiled bitterly. Lin Yi broke my legs. Don't you know that Lin Yi doesn't always play by the rules? Old Zhao himself didn't dare to go against Lin Yi, so Zhao Chibbing was at a disadvantage. He could only accept it. Forget it. What do you want to do then? Grandpa, can you help me? Chibbing hesitated and asked. Me? Old Zhao's face twitched as he looked at Chibbing's legs. He was a sky class, but he couldn't break his grandson's legs with his own hands. This was also why he couldn't kill Chikuan himself. He could only use the Sky Elixir sect's hand to make him have an accident in the Sky Elixir's test. After all, this was his grandchild. He couldn't do it. But this time, he was helping Chibbing with his training, so he wasn't harming him. He thought about it. I'll think about it. I'll adjust my mentality. All right, Chibbing nodded. I'll be leaving then, Grandpa. Rest well. Songshan's first school, a transfer student came today. It wasn't a rare thing for a transfer student to come to a prestigious school like Songshan's First High, but this transfer student was different. When he arrived at the school, it was extremely grand. 4 black Mercedes-Benz cars led the way, and in the middle was a Rolls-Royce. Behind the Rolls-Royce were 4 Audi Q7s. It looked like a rich man's wedding. A cool-looking young man with sunglasses walked down from the Rolls-Royce. He was Chen Xiaoba, the only son of the city's mafia boss, B.A. Bro Yingziyu. I've finally found you. Chen Xiaoba said with a smile as he got off the car, looking at the sign on the school gate. Chen Xiaoba was one of Ziyu's pursuers, and the story started a few days ago. Chen Xiaoba and a few friends came to Songshan to play, and when they were eating at a restaurant, they saw Ziyu teaching a pervert a lesson. She was so cool, and Chen Xiaoba was mesmerized by her. He was a gangster in the first place, and he was very interested in hot girls like Ziyu who were obviously different from delinquents. He went up to talk to her, but she ignored him and left with Chen Xi after paying the bill. Chen Xiaoba was a gangster, but he wasn't an idiot. He didn't know who Ziyu was in Songshan, and he didn't dare do anything inappropriate. He only took a picture of her with his phone, preparing to investigate her background later. With Chen Xiaoba's background and power, investigating someone was way too easy. Soon, Ziyu's information appeared in front of him. Ziyu, female, 16 years old, graduated from Songshan Fushan High, the big sister of one of the big 3 powers there. Never had a boyfriend, currently studying at Songshan's First High. She had turned over a new leaf, working hard at her studies. One of the big 4, Zhu Ruoming, was there to protect her. This never had a boyfriend made Chen Xiaoba's eyes light up. This was great. How could he let go of a girl like this? Next, he looked at Zhu Ruoming's information. Zhu Ruoming, male, 20 years old, one of the big 4 of Songshan's First High, a repeat student. His father, Zhu Tiandi, was a famous entertainment tycoon in Songshan. His business was half illegal, half legal. His brother, Zhu Ruoguang, was a gangster boss in the North District. TCH. Chen Xiaoba snorted coldly after looking at Zhu Ruoming's information. Zhu Ruoming's family was nothing but a gangster in his eyes. He didn't know what relationship Zhu Ruoming had with Ziyu, and why he was protecting her at school, but Chen Xiaoba wasn't worried at all. He believed that Zhu Ruoming wouldn't dare interfere with him going after Ziyu. In fact, his guess was right. Zhu Ruoming didn't dare warn Chen Xiaoba after knowing his identity. This was a person he couldn't afford to offend. Chapter 25:38. Oh, you can't handle it. Ziyu paused. As far as she could remember, House Zhu was a very powerful family in Songshan, at least able to take care of everything in the underworld. This was also why Ziyu and Chen Shi didn't get harassed by boys, but Chen Xiaoba's arrival broke that balance. Yeah, Chen Xiaoba's father, Chen Bawang, is the temporary boss of the underworld, much bigger than us. Zhu Ruoming said, a little embarrassed. Miss Ziyu, I don't have a choice. They're too strong. Should we contact Boss Lin Yi? Ziyu frowned. To be honest, she didn't want to trouble Lin Yi with something as small as this. Lin Yi wasn't in Songshan right now, and it wasn't convenient for him to go back and forth. So she thought of Zihua. He was a big boss in Songshan, and she had his contact too. She just never used it. I'll ask Zihua, Ziyu said. If it wasn't necessary, she didn't want to trouble Lin Yi with something as small as this, as if she and Chen Shi had a lot of things to do. Alright, Zihua Bro's position is about the same as Chen Bawang. His words should be effective. Zhu Ruoming nodded. And so, Ziyu gave Zihua a call and told him what happened. Zihua didn't reject her, only saying that he needed to investigate first and that he'd get back to her later. In fact, Zihua didn't need to investigate. Since Ziyu said that, it was most likely true. There was no need to investigate. He just wanted to ask Chibing if he should help or not. Hello. Chibing had just recovered and was resting on the bed. He picked up Zihua's call weakly. Zihua, didn't I say that you don't need to call me if there's nothing important? You can take care of the business there. Zihua nodded. Zihua, I told you not to call me if there's nothing important. Master Bing, there's something I need your help with here. Zihua said quickly. Oh, what is it? You still need me? Chibing asked. Yes. It's like this, Ying Ziyu's being harassed by Chen Xiaoba, and she wants me to mediate. Zihua said carefully. Who is Ying Ziyu? Which one is Chen Xiaoba? Chibing paused. He couldn't recall the existence of these two people in his memory. Ying Ziyu is Lin Yi's godsister, and Chen Xiaoba is the son of a temporary mafia boss. Zihua explained. Wait, what did you say? Ziyu is Lin Yi's godsister. Chibing's eyes lit up when he heard Lin Yi's name. He sat up on the bed and asked, Are you sure? Yes, this is accurate. Zihua nodded. Lin Yi even took her out to get her hair done, treating her really well. He even had Zhu Ruoming look after her at school. Ha 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 ha. Pin Liang started laughing. This is a godsend, a godsend. What do you mean? Zihua didn't understand why Chibing was laughing all of a sudden. He could only test the waters. Master Bing, do you mean that we don't care? Let Chen Xiaoba harass Ying Ziyu and make things difficult for Lin Yi? Of course not. Chibing said quickly. Of course we will. But wait for my phone call, wait for my order, and I'll make that Chen Xiaoba scram. Alright, I got it. Zihua was confused. He didn't know what Chibing was so excited about, but since it was an order from Chibing, he would carry it out without holding back. He used to be Chibing's follower, and Chibing was now the heir of the hidden house Zhao. This meant that Zihua had to follow Chibing's footsteps even more closely. Chibing hung up and ran out of the house. This time, he was smarter. He didn't come alone, only bringing a follower, Zhao Chishu. He even brought a wheelchair with him, driving his car all the way to Donghai Engineering University. They entered the biology building and found Lin Yi's class. They knocked on the door, and Boss Bai opened it with a frown. He looked at Chibing, who was standing at the door. What do you want? Hello, teacher. I'm looking for Lin Yi, Chibing said politely. Oh, wait a second. Boss Bai's face softened a little when he heard that it was for Lin Yi. Lin Yi was a student with special privileges, so it wasn't a problem if he didn't listen in class. If it were any other student, Boss Bai wouldn't let them go unless it was an emergency. Lin Yi, someone's looking for you, Boss Bai said to Lin Yi after returning to the classroom. Someone's looking for me? Lin Yi paused, but quickly walked out of the classroom. He was even more confused when he saw Chibing standing in front of him. Why are you here again? Lin Yi boss, it's like this. I have something urgent to report to you. Chibing was afraid that Lin Yi would just leave and ignore him, so he quickly used an emergency to stop Lin Yi. What is it? Lin Yi was a little impatient, but he still asked. Ying Ziyu, she's in Songshan, and she's being harassed. Chibing didn't dare waste time. Harassed? How do you know? Lin Yi frowned. What's going on? Who's harassing her? Is there any trouble? Not at the moment. Chibing saw the frown on Lin Yi's face and knew that Lin Yi was worried about Ziyu. He felt that there was a chance. I got the news from Tsihua, Lin Yi boss. Do you need my help? Can I get Tsihua to warn her? Zhu Ruoming didn't do it. Lin Yi felt that this was a little strange. The son of the mafia boss, Zhu Ruoming, can't do it yet. Chibing said. Only Tsihua can do it. Of course, Boss Lin Yi would be able to do it yourself, but I'm sure you don't have the time, right? Oh, so you're here to ask for a reward, right? Lin Yi nodded. Heh, it's not really asking for a reward. I'll help you deal with Ziyu, and you'll reward me by breaking my leg. How's that? Chibing looked at Lin Yi expectantly. Phut. Lin Yi spat on Chibing's face and started coughing. Cough, cough, cough. You're not sick, are you? No, I'm fine, aren't I? I've recovered from all my injuries, Chibing said. Then why do you want to break your leg? Lin Yi asked curiously. That. Don't ask, I just want to break my leg, Chibing said. Chapter 2539. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Although Lin Yi could go to Songshan himself, it was a little rushed and troublesome. It wasn't worth it for a small fry like him, so it was a good thing that Chibing could do it for him. But Chibing's request was too special. His reward was to break his legs. Anyone with a normal mind wouldn't make such a request. Unless he had some other special purpose. But what special purpose could Chibing have? Was breaking his legs good for him? Lin Yi couldn't think of anything. Besides, Lin Yi didn't want to think about it anymore. Even if he didn't break Chibing's legs, Chibing would find a way to do it. Breaking Chibing's legs was as easy as lifting a finger. Great, I'll make the call now. Chibing was overjoyed. He picked up the phone and dialed Tsihua's number, ordering excitedly, Tsihua, go tell that little bastard to fuck off. Yes, Master Bing. Tsihua didn't know why Chibing was so excited, but he nodded anyway. All right, I'll go now. Chibing hung up and waved his phone at Lin Yi proudly. It's done, shouldn't it be my reward? Oh. Lin Yi kicked Chibing's legs twice, and with two crisp cracking sounds, Chibing's legs were broken. Ha 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 ha, that's great. Chibing was in pain and happy at the same time. His legs were finally broken, and it was done so cleanly. Ki-15 quickly helped Chibing into the wheelchair, but Chibing couldn't stop laughing. Boss Lin Yi, you're too amazing. Your leg-breaking technique is unparalleled, fast, good, and thorough. It's godlike. Lin Yi was speechless at Chibing's compliments. Lin Yi boss, I'll definitely find you to break my legs again in the future. It feels so good, Chibing said. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving, Lin Yi said to Chibing's incomparably brainless behavior. He didn't want to say anything else. Okay, thank you, Chibing said gratefully. Lin Yi shrugged and entered the classroom. Chibing, on the other hand, left Donghai Industry University in high spirits. Ki-15 didn't know the truth, and he didn't dare to ask. He was wondering if Master Bing had a problem with his leg, to think that someone had broken it. But he was so happy. What kind of train of thought was this? Tsihua received Chibing's order and immediately went to talk to Chen Xiaoba. Chen Xiaoba didn't expect the famous Tsihua to come to him on his first day in Songshan. Although he wasn't happy, he had to lower his head in Tsihua's territory. Boss Li, what can I do for you? Chen Xiaoba was in the middle of chasing Ziyu when Tsihua's men called him to a Mercedes-Benz at the school gates. Chen Xiaoba, how's your father? Tsihua asked. Not bad. Thank you for your concern, Boss Li. Chen Xiaoba said politely, not knowing what Tsihua was trying to say. Chen Xiaoba, this is Songshan, not a neighboring city. Go back. I'm just giving you a friendly reminder, don't cause trouble here. Tsihua said. Boss Li, what do you mean? Chen Xiaoba's face changed. Can't I come to school here? That's not it, It's just that Ziyu has a brother, a tough guy. He asked me to tell you on his behalf. Zihua drew a clear line between himself and Chen Bawang so that it wouldn't affect his business dealings with him. Oh, her brother. He's in the underworld too. Chen Xiaoba frowned. That's not it. But it was my boss who told me about this personally, so I hope young Master Chen can give me some face. Otherwise, it'll be hard for me. Zihua threatened faintly. You know that I'm just a spokesperson, everything is up to my boss, I understand. I'll go back now, Boss Li. Chen Xiaoba didn't want to, but he didn't dare go against Zihua's words. After all, this was Zihua's territory. It didn't matter if his father was Chen Bawang. Of course, he didn't want to give up just like that. If he couldn't do it openly, he'd have to do it in the dark. It seemed like Zihua was only doing this on someone else's behalf, so he wouldn't be paying attention to Ziyu's movements all the time. He just needed to wait for the commotion to die down and he'd make his move in the dark. Chen Xiaoba didn't think that Ziyu had any powerful backgrounds. Her brother probably knew the person behind Zihua and asked his grandpa to tell him. After all, Ziyu didn't look like a girl from a rich family, and everything she ate was normal. She went to a bad school, Fushan High. Haha, that's good. Zihua nodded. After leaving Zihua's car, Chen Xiaoba left Songshan on the same day. He wasn't happy about it, but he didn't show it. He didn't believe that Zihua would do the same thing next time, even if he did. Chen Xiaoba wasn't afraid of Zihua at all. He knew that Zihua's boss was the Hidden House Zhao, but his father, Chen Bawang, was also the Hidden House Zhuang, who didn't have some kind of background these days. Especially someone like Chen Bawang, someone who could control an entire city's underworld business. If he didn't have a strong background, he'd be swallowed by other gangs a long time ago. But with a giant like the Hidden House Zhuang, all of them practitioners, which gang would be stupid enough to go against them? It was a one-sided death wish. Chen Xiaoba, on the other hand, was giving face to the Hidden House Zhao. They wouldn't cause trouble on their turf, but whether or not he would do anything to Ziyu depended on the Hidden House Zhuang's attitude. After Chen Xiaoba left Songshan, Lin Yi received a message from Chibing. Boss Lin Yi, Zihua has talked to Chen Xiaoba and told him to piss off. Don't worry. I'm happy to be of service to you. I hope you won't reject me the next time I ask you to break your legs. Thank you. Lin Yi was speechless as he read Chibing's message. He really couldn't understand why Chibing was so interested in a broken leg. Could it be that this guy had found some weird training method, similar to Zhong Naipao? Shaking his head, Lin Yi went back to practicing, smelling Xinyan's fragrance. Lin Yi was racing against time, constantly improving his strength. It wasn't just for Xiao Xiao anymore, it was for himself. His enemies were getting stronger and stronger, and while most of the noble houses were basically following Lin Yi's lead, most of the hidden houses weren't on good terms with Lin Yi. Some were even enemies. Chapter 2548_School Bells Bodyguard Free Reading Chapter 2548. Chapter 2540. The reason why he couldn't practice alchemy was because of the ancient sects. The ancient sects didn't even need to be mentioned, so he had to get stronger as soon as possible to protect himself and his family. Lin Yi, come with me to the office. After the morning class, Boss Bai said to Lin Yi. Okay. Lin Yi quickly returned to reality from the space of the jade pendant and nodded. Under the envious gaze of Right Coiling Tiger, Lin Yi followed Boss Bai out of the classroom and walked in the direction of his office. Lin Yi is really lucky. He has the favor of a beauty and Boss Bai to guide him in alchemy. It's really infuriating. Right Coiling Tiger muttered with some dissatisfaction. These days, Lin Yi didn't get any new information from Boss Bai, so Coiling Tiger didn't make a move. But now he couldn't sit still. After hesitating for a moment, Coiling Tiger Yu still followed. Although he was more afraid of Lin Yi, he had to pay attention to the information related to improving the level of alchemy of the Yu family. Others may not know, but Coiling Tiger Yu was very clear. Boss Bai's alchemy skills back then, even if the masters of the entire Heavenly Elixir sect were added together, it would still be difficult to catch up. So even if he was afraid, Coiling Tiger Yu still had to follow. Lin Yi was now a master of the peak of the middle phase of the Earth class. Naturally, he could easily notice that someone was following him. But after seeing that it was Coiling Tiger Yu, He didn't care. Lin Yi went to Boss Bai's office several times before, and there was not a time when coiling Tiger Yu didn't follow him. Lin Yi was already used to it. Little Yi, how's your alchemy skills these days? Has it improved? Boss Bai asked as he walked. Still the same. I can't change the temperature and intensity of the fire. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and said, maybe I really don't have the talent for alchemy. Is your body really lacking the wood attribute? Boss Bai frowned. He was grateful to Lin Yi and admired Lin Yi's medical skills. Therefore, he wanted Lin Yi to learn more things and go further on the path of medicine. How could he go further? Conventional medical skills were certainly not very attractive to Lin Yi. Only the art of alchemy, which was a higher level of medical skills, was also helpful to cultivators. However, Lin Yi had never been able to condense the alchemic fire skillfully, which made Boss Bai feel very regretful. That's not it. I can confirm that my body has the wood attribute. Previously, Lin Yi wasn't sure if he had the wood element in his body. After all, changing the element of alchemy fire at will was an uncertain factor in Lin Yi's eyes. What if it was the art of dragon mastery? However, after practicing the wood forest 1,000 transformations, Lin Yi was sure that he had the wood element in his body. Oh! Boss Bai paused for a moment and turned to look at Lin Yi. Then he shook his head and said, it's not surprising that you can condense the fire element and wood element alchemy fire. It doesn't mean that your body has this element. Just like alchemists who don't have the water attribute can also condense and catalyze the water element alchemy fire, this is only the transformation of the chant. It doesn't mean that your body really has this type of alchemy fire. No, Mr. Bai, what I mean is that I can use both the wood and fire attribute martial arts skills. Lin Yi shook his head and thought that his guess was right. Being able to transform alchemy fire had nothing to do with one's physique. However, at this moment, he said with certainty, so my body should have both the wood and fire attributes. Ah, this. Boss Bai's expression became even worse. His expression turned even uglier. After a long while, he finally said, could it be the legendary good-for-nothing? Phut, cough cough cough. After hearing Boss Bai's words, Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. In any case, his cultivation speed was considered excellent. Without a master, he was not inferior to the disciples of the hidden families or even the ancient sects. How could he be called useless? Moreover, he could also imitate and create martial arts skills. Even if he wasn't a genius, he wasn't a useless wood, right? Most importantly, when the art of dragon mastery reaches the second level, he could become an existence similar to a blacksmith, and he would be a rare genius in the world. Lin Yi, I didn't mean that. Boss Bai saw that Lin Yi was embarrassed. He hurriedly explained, actually, what I meant was that some people's physiques are not suitable for alchemy. For example, I once knew a person, how should I put it? This person's body contains many different attributes, even surpassing the ordinary fire and wood attributes. It's not just 3 attributes, but more. This person's multiple attributes form a situation where they are mutually restraining each other. Although I can't be sure if this is the case for you, your body shouldn't be suitable to become an alchemist. Oh, isn't the more attributes the better? Why can't I become an alchemist? Lin Yi's heart slightly moved, and he asked. Actually, it's like this. An alchemist must have the 2 basic attributes of fire and wood. Fire is the body attribute necessary to condense all kinds of alchemy fire, and wood is a kind of wood spiritual perception of the changes of the herbs in the alchemy furnace. If these 2 basic attributes have the water attribute, then it will have a restraint on the fire attribute, and water and fire are mutually exclusive. Boss Bai explained, in this way, because of the water attribute, the fire attribute will be restrained, and can't change the temperature and intensity of the alchemy fire. Ah, that's it. After hearing this, Lin Yi's eyes widened, and he finally understood. But at the same time, he was a little frustrated. Mr. Bai, you are right. I still have the water attribute in my body, because I can also activate the water martial arts skills. Sure enough. Boss Bai patted Lin Yi's shoulder and looked at Lin Yi with a bit of heartache. Having too many attributes is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. At the very least, it's a bad thing for alchemist. Because the current mantras for alchemy, fire catalyzing and condensing, can't change this situation. Although in theory, if there is a new mantra, this difficulty can be overcome, but there is not for the time being. There are too few examples like you. Lin Yi shrugged. Boss Bai's words were all for naught. However, if your body also has the metal attribute, you can become a blacksmith. In the world of blacksmiths, there is no such thing as mutual restriction. Boss Bai said, I can be sure of this. Oh. Lin Yi was slightly stunned. Did he have the metal attribute in his body? At present, Lin Yi was also not clear, because Lin Yi had not tried to activate the metal attribute martial arts skills, but when the second level of the Art of Dragon Mastery was completed, it was certain that he could condense the space of the Jade Pendant. Chapter 2549 The Campus Belle's Bodyguard is Free. Chapter 2541. Did that mean that he was a blacksmith? It seemed that he was even more powerful than an alchemist. Although Lin Yi wasn't very sure, Lin Yi speculated that he should have the metal element. Otherwise, the method of condensing the Jade Pendant wouldn't have mentioned all the other prerequisites, and that was the completion of the second level of the Art of Dragon Mastery. In other words, those who could practice the Art of Dragon Mastery must have the metal, wood, and fire elements in their bodies. It's nothing. I had a disciple of an old friend who had this element. He could become a blacksmith, not an alchemist. Boss Bai didn't say much, obviously unwilling to talk about the past. Lin Yi nodded and didn't ask any more. What a pity, but it's fine. I'll help you collect some information on blacksmiths. Your body type is rare even in 1,000 years. If you really have the metal element, then becoming a blacksmith won't be a dream. By then, you'll be even more powerful than an alchemist. Boss Bai comforted him. Thank you, Mr. Bai. Lin Yi was really touched after listening to Boss Bai's words. He and Boss Bai were just an ordinary teacher and student, and Boss Bai's kindness to him originated from the time when he saved him. But now, the favor was almost returned, and Boss Bai was still tirelessly helping him solve his problems. Hihi, no need to be so polite. I'm your teacher, isn't this what I should do? Boss Bai smiled and said, how about it, Yi, do you want to be my disciple now? Mr. Bai, you're my teacher now. This is actually the same as my previous master. A teacher for a day is a father for life. I'm already your disciple, what else is there to doubt? Lin Yi smiled and said, it's just that I'll be Boss Bai's disciple in the future. I don't want to lose face for you. Haha, okay, I'm very happy today. Boss Bai nodded and said, in fact, you also know that this kind of teacher and student relationship is still different from a real teacher and disciple relationship. For some people, although I'm a teacher in their school, I won't allow them to use my name after they graduate. I understand. Lin Yi thought to himself, are you talking about the right coiling tiger? Originally, I called you here this time because I wanted to give you something really good. Some of the things that my master taught me years ago, I wanted to see if you could be inspired by them, but now it seems that they are not very useful. Boss Bai sighed and said with some disappointment. Hey, it's useful, of course it's useful. Lin Yi quickly said. Useful? Don't tell me you're going to use it to trade with Right Coiling Tiger. Boss Bai laughed, but Lil Yi, I'm telling you, the thing this time is indeed good stuff. It's a pity to give it to Right Coiling Tiger, but if you really want to trade with him, then I can give it to you. But, this is what my master taught me back then. When Boss Bai said this, his voice suddenly became a lot louder. Previously, the two people were communicating in a low voice, and with Right Coiling Tiger's distance and hearing, he couldn't hear it at all, but Boss Bai's words were heard clearly by Right Coiling Tiger. This. Lin Yi suddenly blushed. He really didn't mean that. He wanted to give Han Jingjing a reference and see if he could learn something new from it. As for exchanging it to Right Coiling Tiger, it would depend on the real value of this information. If it was really that kind of useful and precious information, Lin Yi naturally wouldn't give it to Right Coiling Tiger. Right Coiling Tiger stood behind the two people not far away. Previously, he was suffering from his poor hearing and couldn't hear anything clearly. Suddenly, Boss Bai's words came into his ears like a bolt from the blue, causing Right Coiling Tiger's ears to prick up. It was really good stuff. Or something that Boss Bai's master taught him back then. Wasn't this exactly what the right family needed to hide? This time, he listened carefully and couldn't make a mistake. Right Coiling Tiger was overjoyed. He had to get this information. Thinking of this, Right Coiling Tiger also slowed down. In order not to let Lin Yi and Boss Bai suspect, he deliberately slowed down and didn't follow too closely. After all, he already knew that Lin Yi would get a super good information. Right Coiling Tiger only needed to be prepared to negotiate with Lin Yi to exchange the information back. Hehe, I just said it casually. Since the information has been given to you, I won't say anything if you want to exchange it for some benefits that are beneficial to you. Boss Bai laughed. He really took good care of Lin Yi. Well, can this really be exchanged for Right Coiling Tiger? Lin Yi asked with some uncertainty. Actually, it can. Boss Bai said, this is something that my master left me. The information inside is actually not particularly important. Anyway, you can make your own decision. Thank you, Teacher Bai. Lin Yi said gratefully. Hehe, this is nothing. The most important thing is an alchemist's notes that I summarized and perfected myself. This alchemist's notes, you'd better not give it away. Boss Bai said, I will give it to you next time. That is not necessary. I can't become an alchemist. Lin Yi said with some embarrassment. You can't, but can't Han Jingjing? Boss Bai smiled. Teacher Bai, you know all about it. Lin Yi was shocked and looked at Boss Bai with some surprise. He didn't expect Boss Bai to already know about Han Jingjing. Didn't you give all the things that you exchanged with Right Coiling Tiger to her? Boss Bai smiled slightly. Although I don't know what your relationship with her is, it seems that she should be very close to you. If she can become an alchemist, my support for you will not be in vain. Han Jingjing is indeed an alchemist. Lin Yi nodded. Regarding this, since Boss Bai had already seen through it, and Boss Bai had given him such support, Lin Yi was embarrassed to hide anything. Now, can she successfully refine a first-grade elixir? Boss Bai nodded and asked. Jingjing can now refine second-grade elixir with 90% success rate. Lin Yi said 90%, that's a very high success rate. What? You said second-grade elixir? Boss Bai widened his eyes and looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. You are not lying to me. She really can have 90% success rate in refining second-grade elixir? Yes. Lin Yi nodded and said with a bitter smile, Boss Bai, do I need to lie to you? Second grade, 90% success rate. Boss Bai took a deep breath. What a young hero. Chapter 2542. His own disciple only had an 80% chance of successfully refining a first-grade elixir and a 30% chance of successfully refining a second-grade elixir. This was under the condition that his disciple was extremely talented, and it was also the result of his careful teaching. But this Han Jingjing, who came out of nowhere, had a 90% chance of successfully making a second-level elixir in just a few months, under the guidance of a half-baked elixir refiner like Lin Yi. What did that mean? Of course, that was the result of Lin Yi's reservation. After all, it was too shocking that Han Jingjing could successfully refine a second-grade elixir and mass-produce it. Hee. Lin Yi just smiled. Can you let her be my disciple? Boss Bai was a little tempted. Well, I'm afraid. Lin Yi hesitated and didn't know how to explain. It was not that he didn't want Han Jingjing to be his disciple, but it was not very useful for a scientific alchemist like Han Jingjing. What? Do you want to keep it to yourself? Seeing Lin Yi's look, Boss Bai thought that Lin Yi was reluctant to let her go, so he said with a smile, I'm just helping you to train a helper. I already have a disciple, so I won't compete with you for her. No. Lin Yi shook his head and decided to tell the truth. He said, Mr. Bai, Jingjing's situation is a little special. She has the fire attribute in her body, but not the wood attribute, so your practical operation is not very useful for her. Oh? Boss Bai was really shocked this time. Alchemists lack the wood attribute. How is that possible? How can such a person become an alchemist? Not to mention refining elixirs, it would be good enough if the furnace doesn't explode. So, Boss Bai lost his voice and said, how is that possible? Jingjing uses a complicated method of exploration and calculation to get some data. She's the only one who can use this method, and it's a unique one. It's impossible for anyone to teach her, and it's not realistic for her to learn it. Lin Yi didn't go into too much detail, just giving a general overview. I see. Boss Bai was deep in thought. Although what Lin Yi said was theoretically feasible, it was actually very difficult and unrealistic. However, Lin Yi certainly wouldn't lie, which meant that it was all true. There was only one possibility, and that was that Han Jingjing was a genius in mathematics, physics, and chemistry. At the very least, she had the intelligence of a scientist, which was why she was able to calculate the complicated chemical and physical changes in the furnace, as well as the time, temperature, and intensity of the fire. Boss Bai used to be a successful alchemist, so he understood the principle after what Lin Yi said. It was just that this seemed a little unimaginable to him. It was not impossible, but the difficulty was too high. It's not impossible, but it's too difficult. Boss Bai shook his head and said with a bitter smile, "This alchemy method is theoretically feasible, but it's the first time I've heard of it." I was also shocked at the time. Lin Yi smiled. "But little Yi, don't tell anyone else about this." Boss Bai's face suddenly returned to a serious expression, "Especially don't let the Hidden Yu family and the Heavenly Elixir sect know. Otherwise, it may bring an unexpected disaster to Han Jingjing. At least, before you have the qualifications to look down on all the ancient sects, you can't reveal this news." "Teacher Bai, I understand. I'm only telling you." Lin Yi knew the stakes and nodded. "I think I shouldn't hide it from you since you treat me so well, but to others, hey, yeah, I was thinking too much. Kid, you're even more shrewd than the little fox. You played Yu coiling tiger like a fiddle, and he took out all the good stuff hidden in the Yu family to trade with you." Boss Bai smiled in relief. "Yeah, so I'm going to take this information and exchange it with Yu coiling tiger for some materials for third-level elixirs," Lin Yi said. "Okay." Boss Bai nodded firmly this time. "This information is useless. This is all I can support you. I don't have materials for third-level elixirs, but I can find some materials for second-level elixirs for you." "Oh? Mr. Bai, you have materials for second-level elixirs?" Lin Yi suddenly had a feeling that he could wear out iron shoes in a fruitless search, only to find what he was looking for without any effort. Why didn't he think that Boss Bai had materials for second-level elixirs? If he had known earlier, Lin Yi would have gotten some materials from Boss Bai. Why did he have to exchange with Yu coiling tiger? "I do have some, but you know that these materials are very expensive. It's not that I'm stingy, but I'm really not rich. I have an apprentice at home, so I have to use them sparingly." Boss Bai looked at Lin Yi apologetically and said, "These materials can be bought." Lin Yi was slightly dazed. "Of course." Boss Bai nodded and said, "The Heavenly Elixir sect sells these common materials, and I've planted some myself, but not a lot. Also, teaching apprentices wastes a lot of materials." "Well, how about I buy them from you?" Lin Yi asked. The Cultivator Trading Association hadn't given Lin Yi a definite message, so Lin Yi and Han Jingjing were basically in a stagnant state these days without materials to make elixirs. "Yes, but not for now. The Heavenly Elixir sect will only sell medicinal materials at the next Cultivator Trading Convention," Boss Bai said. Cultivator Trading Convention? Hearing this somewhat familiar name, Lin Yi thought of something. Is it held by the Cultivator Trading Association? That's right, it was organized by the Cultivator Trade Association. Boss Bai nodded. The Cultivator Trading Association also sells these medicinal materials, but the quality is better and the price is higher, so the medicinal materials of the Heavenly Elixir sect are generally more popular. Other families don't have alchemists. Why do they buy these materials? Lin Yi was a bit puzzled. It was understandable if Boss Bai bought the materials of the Heavenly Elixir sect instead of the Cultivator Trading Association. Anyway, it didn't matter if the materials were good or bad for his apprentice, and the elixirs that were made were of the same quality. But why did other people buy these materials? These materials are actually not only used to make elixirs, but also to make medicines. Boss Bai said, "Little Yi, you are really confused. In fact, even if these medicinal materials are not made into elixirs, they can be mixed together to make ordinary medicines. Most of them will have corresponding effects, but the effects will be weakened a lot. Just like the Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine on the market. Think about it. How similar are the ingredients of it to the circulation pill? At least 7 or 8 kinds of medicinal materials are the ingredients of the circulation pill, right? Latest update, please. Chapter 2543. Oh. Lin Yi paused and nodded. Now that you mention it, that does seem to be the case. Even the bone cleansing pill, after simplifying the ingredients, could become the pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, but Miracle Dr. Guan's injury medicine couldn't be compared. The effects were similar, but Lin Yi had completely changed it. That's why they say that you don't have to worry about selling the good stuff. Plus, most of the people who come to this kind of trade fair are ancient levels. It's not surprising for ancient sects and ancient families to have a second-level refiner. They also need to buy large amounts of ingredients to train their skills, Bai Bo explained. I see, can't you just say that it's an ancient-level trade fair? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. This was easy to understand. There were refiners in the Ice Palace. Haha, I thought you weren't familiar with the ancient level. Bai Bo smiled. The two entered Bai Bo's office side by side, and the same way, Bai Bo handed Lin Yi a stack of documents and didn't say anything else. Thank you, Master Bai. I'll be going now. Lin Yi nodded, but he was hesitating. Should he return the favor and show the notes he got from Zhong Liju's tomb to Bai Bo? Logically speaking, Bai Bo was Zhong Liju's disciple, and it wasn't against the rules for him to show Bai Bo his notes. To put it bluntly, Lin Yi was just showing him something that belonged to Bai Bo. All right, go. Bai Bo nodded and said, bring Jing Jing to my house when you're free. If you have any problems, tell her to come find me. All right. Lin Yi knew that Bai Bo had accepted Han Jingjing as his student. After leaving Bai Bo's office, Lin Yi saw Right Coiling Tiger, who was standing at the end of the hallway, pretending to be reading the wall posters. He smiled and greeted Lin Yi. Ha, isn't this Lin Yi classmate? Did Teacher Bai give you something good again? Yes, but I don't want to trade with you. Lin Yi said straightforwardly. Okay, get out of the way. Quack. Right Coiling Tiger didn't expect Lin Yi to be so direct this time, which was different from the previous 2 times. But this time, because Right Coiling Tiger heard Boss Bai's words, he was very confident in the information in Lin Yi's hands. And seeing that Lin Yi didn't play hard to get this time, but directly and decisively admitted that it was good material and refused to exchange, it also proved this point. Wait. Right Coiling Tiger hurriedly stopped Lin Yi and said, all right, Lin Yi, since you're so direct, I won't play dumb. I also know that the thing in your hand is Boss Bai's Master's Alchemy notes, right? So what if I am? Lin Yi said coldly, I don't want to give it to you this time. Although I admit that I played hard to get you twice before, this time, I don't want to exchange with you at all, so just give up. There's no need to say anything more. Don't. Right Coiling Tiger said, Lin Yi, don't be so absolute. Everything has its value. You rejected me because you think I can't give you a price that can move you, but I can tell you clearly that I can. You can. Lin Yi shook his head. I don't think you can, and I don't want to exchange with you. If you don't want to be beaten, then get out of the way. In Teacher Bai's place, I don't want to use force. This. Right Coiling Tiger didn't expect Lin Yi to be so stubborn. It seemed that he had made up his mind not to communicate with him. He suddenly became a little anxious. This time, it was a real good thing. Right Coiling Tiger absolutely didn't want to miss it. He had already made 2 mistakes, and this time, he clearly knew that the thing in Lin Yi's hand was good, but Lin Yi didn't want to exchange with him, which made him feel a little helpless. I still have to go eat. Lin Yi walked around Right Coiling Tiger and strode forward. Lin Yi, what do you need? Just say it. Isn't business just bargaining? Right Coiling Tiger said, tell me what you want. You have to give me a chance, right? Oh, okay, I want the Qi Gathering Pill. Do you have it? Lin Yi asked. Qi Gathering Pill? Right Coiling Tiger was stunned, and then his face darkened. How could he have this thing in his house? Qi Gathering Pill was a 3rd-grade medicinal pill. Not to mention that the refining materials were rare, it was also very difficult to refine. Even if the Heavenly Elixir sect could refine it, they would not refine this kind of thing. On the one hand, Third-grade medicinal pills could not be refined at any time. Even the ancestor of the Heavenly Elixir sect had to think twice before refining a third-grade medicinal pill. He had to consider whether it was worth refining. Because refining a third-grade medicinal pill, whether it was successful or not, required a lot of physical strength and true qi. It was almost impossible to recover in half a year or even a year. During this period, they could not refine other medicinal pills. Therefore, even if a third-grade medicinal pill could be sold for a lot of money, it was priceless. The ancestor of the Heavenly Elixir sect would not refine it unless it was necessary. For example, the Flaming Sun Dan refined for Kang Ming Ming was a last resort, so the ancestor of the Heavenly Elixir sect would refine it. In the Heavenly Elixir sect, as a reward for the winner of the trial, some of the third-grade medicinal pills were accumulated by the Heavenly Elixir sect for generations, some were given by that place, and some were found in ancient ruins. Very few of the Heavenly Elixir sect's ancestor refined it himself. This was also the reason why Bingtang wanted to refine a third-grade medicinal pill, but she still didn't succeed despite begging her grandpa and grandma. "Lin Yi, aren't you making things difficult for me? You know it's impossible. Not to mention my family, even the Heavenly Elixir sect doesn't have it." Right Coiling Tiger smiled bitterly as he chased Lin Yi. "If you don't have it, then forget it. I don't lack anything now. I just need a chi-gathering pill to break through to heaven stage." Lin Yi said, "If you have it, then I can consider it. If not, then forget it. Let's talk about other things, okay?" When Right Coiling Tiger heard that Lin Yi wanted to break through to heaven stage, his heart suddenly trembled. He cursed in his heart. "Motherfucker, you're only at the peak of Earth stage middle stage now, and you can instantly kill heaven stage early stage and heaven stage early stage peak early stage. If you break through to heaven stage, will you let people live? Will you be invincible under the heavenly Tao?" But this thought was just a thought. What he wanted the most now was the material in Lin Yi's hands. No matter what, he had to get it. "Kill you." Lin Yi looked back at Right Coiling Tiger. "Ah." Right Coiling Tiger's face was a little twisted. He hesitated for a moment, but still didn't follow what to do. After Lin Yi left, Right Coiling Tiger furrowed his brows and started thinking. Latest update, please. Chapter 2544. However, after thinking for a long time, Pan Hu Right didn't have a good idea, so he called Yellow Hair, Purple Hair, and Jiaolong. The four of them went to a restaurant room. Pan Hu Right wanted to discuss the latest strategy with them. There was strength in numbers. "Master Pan Hu, I saw you leave with Lin Yi. Are you okay?" Jiaolong asked, concerned. "I'm fine." Pan Hu Right shook his head. "As Boss Bai's student, Lin Yi only dares to threaten me. He wouldn't dare do anything to me." Jiaolong nodded. He used to be Boss Bai's student, so he naturally knew about this rule. Boss Bai hated fights between students to an incomprehensible degree. He couldn't tolerate fights between students, and if anyone broke the rule, then sorry, they'd have to get the fuck out of here. "Then, Master Pan Hu, what did you call us here for?" Yellow Hair asked. He didn't think that Pan Hu Right would invite them for a meal for no reason. In this period of time, both Pan Hu Right and Jiaolong were very low-key. After they came to school, they rarely left the school gates, and usually had lunch in the school cafeteria. "There is indeed something." Pan Hu Right nodded. "Boss Bai gave Lin Yi a list of refiners, and I wanted to exchange it with him, but Lin Yi didn't budge this time. No matter what I said, he wouldn't agree. He told me that he wanted chi-gathering pills, and he wouldn't exchange without them. Isn't he purposely making things difficult for me? Master Pan Hu, are you sure that the information is good?" Yellow Hair knew that Pan Hu Right had suffered a few times before, so he wanted to remind him to be careful and not get tricked. "I'm very sure this time," Pan Hu Right said. This time, Boss Bai said it himself. This information was given to him by his master, and even Lin Yi admitted it. Oh, could it be that Lin Yi is playing hard to get? Purple Hair thought about it and said, "Didn't he do this a few times before? I thought the same thing before. Lin Yi might be playing hard to get, but when he said he wanted a chi-gathering pill from me, I'm afraid he's not playing hard to get." Right Coiling Tiger shook his head, rejecting this suggestion. If that's the case. Purple Hair hesitated for a moment before nodding his head and saying, that's true. If he wanted to play hard to get, he wouldn't have said it so resolutely. Yeah, it's really troublesome. Kang bro, you're a professor, you're wise and resourceful. Do you have any good suggestions? Panhu Right turned to Jiaolong. My suggestion. Jiaolong sighed. Panhu Right's flattery made him feel good. He was indeed the one with the highest degree out of all of them. I feel that you should start with Han Jingjing, Jiaolong said after some thought. Oh, Han Jingjing. Panhu Right paused for a moment, then his eyes lit up as he thought of something. Whether it was the cauldron or the ingredients he gave to Lin Yi, they were all given to Han Jingjing by Lin Yi. This meant that Han Jingjing was the ultimate beneficiary. Since Lin Yi didn't want to trade, then he'd look for Han Jingjing. At that time, whatever Han Jingjing needed, as long as he could give it to her, Lin Yi would definitely help Han Jingjing trade for it. One had to admit that Xiaolong's idea was really a good one. It could turn the situation around. But, I suggest that you don't ask directly. You can first analyze and predict what Han Jingjing needs the most right now. Take this thing and show it to Han Jingjing, say something to incite her. It'd be best if Han Jingjing would take the initiative to ask for it. That way, you'd have the initiative, and it'd be easier to negotiate. Otherwise, if you let Han Jingjing name a price, she might ask for an exorbitant price and scam you. Jiaolong reminded. You're right, Big Bro Kang. You're a professor after all. Panhu Right nodded, overjoyed. All right, I'll ask for leave this afternoon and go back to the hidden house you. I'll discuss with Uncle and Grandpa what Han Jingjing needs the most right now, and I'll get some to show off in front of her. Panhu Right made up his mind and went to ask for leave from Boss Bai. He didn't dare leave without asking for leave anymore. He'd almost been scolded last time. Lin Yi, on the other hand, took the information Boss Bai gave him and went to find Han Jingjing. Lin Yi went to Boss Bai's place, and Han Jingjing and Xinyan didn't eat at the cafeteria. They bought 3 boxes of food and went back to the classroom, waiting for Lin Yi to come back. Lin Yi, I've talked to Yarrow Yarrow and Shu. You're going to Professor Bai's office. We bought the food, so we won't be going to the cafeteria, Xinyan said when she saw Lin Yi walk in. All right, you two didn't eat first. Lin Yi said as he looked at the 3 boxed lunches on the table. None of them had been touched. No, we're not in a hurry. We'll wait for you, Xinyan said. Then let's eat now. Lin Yi walked over and handed the information to Han Jingjing. Jingjing, read this while you eat. It's left behind by Professor Bai's Shifu. See if there's anything you can learn from it. Okay. Han Jingjing took the information and started reading. After the 3 of them finished lunch, Han Jingjing also finished reading the information. She shook her head and said to Lin Yi, Brother Lin Yi, this information is in the information you gave me, and it's much more complete than this. This is only a small part, and it's incomplete. Although some places have been filled in, it's obviously far from the other one. Oh. In other words, this information isn't very useful? Lin Yi asked. Not really, Han Jingjing said truthfully. Okay, I understand. Lin Yi nodded. If Right Coiling Tiger asks you, just say that this information is very good and very useful. If he asks you what you want to exchange, don't say anything. If he lists the conditions, just stay silent or ask me. Jingjing understands. Han Jingjing nodded. Right Coiling Tiger hurriedly returned to the hidden house of Yu and locked himself in a secret room with his uncle Right Shuntian and elder Yu. They held a family meeting. Coiling Tiger, you're saying that this time, the information Boss Bai gave to Lin Yi was indeed left behind by his Shifu? There's no mistake. Right Shuntian asked. That's right, uncle. There's no mistake this time. Boss Bai said it himself. I heard it clearly, and even Lin Yi admitted it. Right Coiling Tiger said as he told his uncle and grandfather about Lin Yi's firm refusal to exchange. Update as soon as possible. Chapter 2545. According to what you said, it might really be something good. Yu Zhentian nodded and said, Father, what do you think? This, if Lin Yi agrees to the exchange, you can let Coiling Tiger take a look and take a photo of the first page and send it back to the family. I'll check it myself and see if this information is important or not. Old Yu said, if it's important, then you have to get it at all costs, no matter how much you have to pay. If it's dispensable, then just pay whatever you want. If Lin Yi doesn't want to exchange, then he doesn't want to exchange. If it's worthless, then forget it. That's fine, but Lin Yi, can you let me see it? Yu Coiling Tiger asked hesitantly. This depends on your ability, Old Yu said. Coiling Tiger, this is also an experience for you. If you do well, I'm prepared to support you to become the first elder of the family. If you can't even do such a small thing, how can you talk about becoming the first elder? Ah! Yu Coiling Tiger was shocked and looked at his grandfather in shock. He didn't expect his grandfather to support him to become the first elder of the family. That was an existence second only to the head of the family. Although he didn't care much about the family's affairs and focused on alchemy, even the head of the family had to be respectful. The current first elder of the House of Yu was his grandfather's younger brother, which was Yu Coiling Tiger's second grandfather. He was a level 2 alchemist, and even his grandfather had to be polite when he saw him. His uncle was even more subservient, and Yu Coiling Tiger couldn't even see him. Yu Zhentian's expression changed slightly. His second grandfather had never married in his life, so naturally, he had no children. So, the position of the first elder was destined to be chosen from his grandfather's bloodline. Yu Zhentian was the heir of the family, and his son was also raised as the head of the House of Yu. The position of the first elder was also very important, but Yu Zhentian didn't expect his father to raise Yu Coiling Tiger as the heir. Originally, Yu Zhentian thought that it would be good enough for Yu Coiling Hu to become an ordinary elder. He never imagined that he would become the clan's first elder. However, at this time, if Yu Panhu really obtained something that was beneficial to the development of the Yu family, then he would become the successor of the great elder. Especially since he was on good terms with Kang Ming. Once Kang Ming became the elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect, then Yu Panhu would not only become the great elder of the Yu family, but also the young master of the Yu family. Thinking up to this point, Yu Zhentian decided to let Yu Coiling Hu hold the position of great elder firmly and not covet the position of young master. Hence, he hurriedly nodded and said, "That's right, Coiling Hu. You must cherish this opportunity. If you can become the great elder, you'll be able to better assist your brother, Yu Coiling Long. The two of you will lead the Yu family to glory. I will do my best." Right now, Yu Coiling Tiger didn't have any thoughts of replacing him. The position of first elder was enough to excite him. He wasn't the kind of person with ambition. "Grandpa, what do you think about me taking a second-grade cauldron? If Han Jingjing learns alchemy, this second-grade cauldron is a consumable item and can be easily damaged." "That's fine. If you're not a skilled alchemist, it's easy to damage the cauldron. You can take another second-grade cauldron, but I'm afraid a second-grade cauldron alone isn't very attractive, right?" Old Yu said. "Oh, but we don't have an extra third-grade cauldron. Currently, we only have a second-grade cauldron," Yu Coiling Hu said. "Indeed, we don't have a third-grade cauldron, but we still have some casting materials for a third-grade cauldron. See if you can trick Lin Yi and Han Jingjing into giving them a set of materials and trick them into forging their own third-grade cauldron." Old Yu thought about it and asked. "That's fine too." Yu Coiling Tiger rubbed his chin and nodded. Previously, he had tricked Lin Yi and exchanged a cracked cauldron as a treasure. This time, he didn't know if Lin Yi would fall for it. In order to make it seem real, you can give him some materials for a third-grade elixir. This way, he won't suspect that a third-grade cauldron can never be forged. Yu Zhentian reminded. "That's right. I'll give it a try. First, I'll prepare these things and then give them to Lin Yi and Han Jingjing one by one. Then, we'll see if they'll be tempted." Yu Coiling Tiger nodded. Lin Yi was in school when he received a call from Songshan's orphanage. However, it wasn't Yu Xiaoke who called, but Xiao Ken. "Lin Yi bro, Xiaoke sis is in some trouble," Xiao Ken said. "Oh, trouble? What kind of trouble?" Lin Yi's heart tightened as he quickly asked. "It's not a big problem. It's just that the Swiss franc that you gave to Sister Xiaoke can't exchange it." Xiao Ken said, "These few days, Sister Xiaoke has been running around with this matter, but she hasn't found a suitable channel. The black market's handling fee is too high. Sister Xiaoke is furious. Oh, that's it. Lin Yi slapped his forehead in realization he'd given all the Swiss francs to Xiaoke, but he'd neglected one problem. If Xiaoke were to exchange them through the proper channels, it'd be troublesome. The amount was too huge, and she couldn't even explain the source of the money. She didn't go to Fatty Lai? No, CEO Lai's company said that they're discussing a big business deal, and CEO Lai went abroad, Xiao Ken said. Fatty Lai went abroad? Lin Yi paused. He hadn't interfered with the company's business for a long time, and he didn't know how it was progressing. But from what Xiao Ken said, it seemed like the company was doing pretty well, even expanding its business overseas. All right, I'll go there myself later. Lin Yi had wanted Yu Xiaoke to look for Peng Zhan. This sort of foreign currency exchange wasn't something that other people could do, but Peng Zhan was a local businessman, and he had deep connections with the banks. But Lin Yi remembered that Yu Xiaoke and Peng Zhan weren't close, and Lin Yi actually wanted to go to Songshan to see Ziyu and Chen Shi. He hadn't seen them in a long time, and he wondered how they were doing. From the fact that Ziyu didn't look for him when she was in trouble, Lin Yi felt like he didn't care about them anymore, and so Lin Yi decided to go see them himself. Chapter 2546. Lin Yi asked for a day off from Boss Bai in the afternoon and drove to Songshan. At this time, Yu Panhu just happened to return to school from the hidden Yu family with some good stuff. His car brushed past Lin Yi's car, but Yu Panhu wasn't good at observing, so he didn't notice it at all. Instead, Lin Yi saw Yu Panhu in the sports car. What was this guy doing in such a hurry? Lin Yi secretly guessed. Did he bring good stuff for him and Han Jingjing again? It had to be said, the person who understood Yu Panhu the most was actually Lin Yi. Yu Panhu returned to class, and the first thing he did was look at Lin Yi's seat, but he didn't see anything. Where's Lin Yi? Yu Panhu asked in a daze. Master Yu, I heard he had something to do in the afternoon, so he asked for a day off. Purple Hair didn't go back with Yu Panhu, he stayed in school. Asked for a day off? Fuck. Yu Panhu felt like he punched cotton. He happily brought a bunch of good stuff and was about to show off, but he didn't expect Lin Yi to leave. But he thought about it again. Lin Yi leaving wasn't a big deal. He wanted to show off in front of Han Jingjing anyway, and without Lin Yi, it would be easier to show off. Han Jingjing shouldn't be as sly as Lin Yi, so it should be easier to trick her, right? Thinking about this, Yu Panhu took out the second-grade medicine cauldron from before, walked to Han Jingjing, and sat down beside her. Han Jingjing was currently studying the alchemist notes that Boss Bai's master gave her. Although most of the content appeared in the alchemist notes that Lin Yi brought back from the ancient tomb, Han Jingjing didn't have anything else to do right now, so she started reading from the beginning when she was bored. Seeing Right Coiling Tiger walking over, Han Jingjing quickly put away the alchemist's notes, then picked up a school medical book and flipped through it. Yu Coiling Tiger immediately rolled his eyes. He didn't expect Han Jingjing to be so vigilant. She put away the documents the moment he walked over, which made Yu Coiling Tiger angry and helpless. Han Jingjing, why are you so hard-working? Are you studying during your lunch break? Right Coiling Tiger asked as he spun the cauldron in his hand. Yes, Jingjing has to study hard and help big brother Lin Yi in the future, Han Jingjing replied without raising her head. Fuck. When Right Coiling Tiger heard Han Jingjing's words, he felt very aggrieved. He thought to himself, what's so good about Lin Yi? Why were all these girls so dead set on him? What's wrong with you? Han Jingjing raised her head and looked strangely at the reddened Right Coiling Tiger. It's nothing. Right Coiling Tiger laughed dryly. Hey, Jingjing, what were you looking at earlier? Can I have a look? No. Han Jingjing rejected decisively. Don't. Didn't Teacher Bai always say that students should help each other? I want to see the documents in your hands. You should let me see them, right? Right Coiling Tiger used Boss Bai's name to say something. Helping each other is not forcing each other. If I let you do a striptease in the classroom, would you agree? Han Jingjing's eyes flashed with a sharp glint as she spoke indifferently. Right Coiling Tiger was speechless. If you want me to help you with something related to studying, I can naturally help you. For example, I can borrow your textbooks, Han Jingjing said. Forget it, I have them too. Right Coiling Tiger was a little puzzled. This Han Jingjing usually looked dumb. Why was she so quick-witted? She didn't seem to be easy to fool. This girl was probably just acting cute in front of Lin Yi, similar to Yu Shu. It seemed like it wasn't easy to fool her. Oh. Han Jingjing nodded and ignored him, continuing to look at the textbooks in front of her. Right Coiling Tiger was a little depressed. In order to attract Han Jingjing's attention, he began to play with the second-grade cauldron in his hands. 3 circles to the left, 3 circles to the right. This was a very easy thing for an alchemist like Right Coiling Tiger. It was even easier than performing acrobatics in a circus. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, the second-grade cauldron spun rapidly in Right Coiling Tiger's hands, making all kinds of difficult moves. However, after playing for a long time, all the eyes of the students in the class were attracted to him. Most of them were envious and shocked. They didn't expect Right Coiling Tiger to be so good at cauldrons. Only Han Jingjing continued to turn a deaf ear, quietly looking at the textbooks in front of her. Right Coiling Tiger wanted to attract Han Jingjing's attention, but Han Jingjing didn't even look at him. Even if the others were shocked to death, it had nothing to do with Right Coiling Tiger. Right Coiling Tiger was a little helpless. He could only put the cauldron on the desk, coughed twice, and said to Han Jingjing, "Jingjing, did you use the second-grade cauldron I gave you last time?" "Oh, I used it. It's pretty good. Thank you." Han Jingjing replied indifferently. This second-grade cauldron, for beginners, is very easy to break. During practice, if you don't control the temperature and the intensity of the fire well, it might explode. Right Coiling Tiger said up to this point and asked, "Your cauldron isn't broken, right?" "It's not broken. It's quite sturdy," Han Jingjing said without raising her head. "Oh. Then it's not broken. Actually, you should prepare another cauldron just in case. If it explodes, you have a replacement," Right Coiling Tiger said. "You mean, you're going to give me another one?" Han Jingjing finally raised her head and looked at the second-grade cauldron that Right Coiling Tiger had placed on the table. "This? Of course, I can't give it to you for free, but we can exchange." Right Coiling Tiger saw that Han Jingjing had finally been led to the main topic by him and was immediately overjoyed. "Oh, then forget it. Mine isn't broken yet. I won't exchange it for now." Han Jingjing lowered her head again. This made Right Coiling Tiger want to cry but have no tears. He didn't have any temper at all. Actually, you don't have to pay anything. How about you give me a copy of the information you just read and this second-grade cauldron will belong to you? How about it?" Right Coiling Tiger raised the second-grade cauldron in his hand and tempted her. "This is a second-grade cauldron. I won't give you a copy," Han Jingjing said directly. Right Coiling Tiger realized that his words just now were equivalent to saying nothing. His rich expression was also very rich. Han Jingjing didn't have any intention of coveting this second-grade cauldron at all. After thinking about it, Right Coiling Tiger asked, "How about this? You tell me what you need." "What do you want?" "What do I want?" Han Jingjing thought about it and said, "I already have a second-grade cauldron. You giving it to me won't be of much use. It's just a backup. If you have a third-grade cauldron, you can also give me one." Chapter 2547. Third-grade medicinal cauldron. Right Coiling Tiger said in his heart, "Here it comes. Can you refine a third-grade medicinal pill? You want a third-grade medicinal cauldron?" However, he just thought about it in his heart. Naturally, he couldn't say it out loud. If he said it, wouldn't it be looking down on Han Jingjing? At that time, Han Jingjing would definitely not exchange with him. You also know that a third-grade medicinal cauldron is very precious. Our hidden Yu family doesn't have much in stock. Moreover, we don't have any more now. The next batch hasn't been cast yet, so then we will talk about it after you cast it. Han Jingjing wasn't a fool. She had already learned about the differences between first-grade, second-grade, and third-grade medicinal cauldrons from Lin Yi's information. First-grade and second-grade medicinal cauldrons could be made by a third-grade alchemist. As long as one used alchemy fire, it could be completed. There was no casting process. However, a third-grade medicinal cauldron was different. It must be cast by a blacksmith. In this era, blacksmiths had long disappeared. Therefore, in theory, it was impossible to cast a third-grade medicinal cauldron. The existing third-grade medicinal cauldrons were passed down from the past. In fact, for a medicinal cauldron, it was possible that a first-grade and second-grade medicinal cauldron was easily damaged. After all, it was the work of an alchemist. There was no casting process, so it was reasonable that it wasn't strong. However, a third-grade medicinal cauldron was basically undamaged. As long as it wasn't a heaven-defying medicinal pill, using a third-grade medicinal cauldron to refine a fourth-grade medicinal pill, the medicinal cauldron wouldn't be damaged. As for what Right Coiling Tiger said about the next batch not being cast yet, it was complete nonsense. However, Han Jingjing didn't expose it. She didn't want Right Coiling Tiger to see how much she knew about alchemy. That still needs a long time. Right Coiling Tiger quickly said, "How about this? Although I don't have a third-grade medicinal cauldron here, I have some materials for casting a third-grade medicinal cauldron. How about I give you some materials and you let Lin Yi cast it?" "Oh." Han Jingjing nodded after listening. "Is it free?" "Of course not. As long as you give me a copy of the materials that Lin Yi gave you, it will be fine." Right Coiling Tiger said. "That won't do. I don't want it," Han Jingjing said resolutely. Yu Panhu was about to cry. He had wasted so much time and effort, but Han Jingjing's one sentence had returned everything back to square one. "Then how can I make a copy?" "Just say it. What else do you have? Just say it." Han Jingjing turned the topic back to Tiger Yu. "This." Right Coiling Tiger hesitated for a moment, then said, "All right, to be honest, I can give you a second-grade medicine cauldron, a third-grade medicine cauldron casting materials, and some third-grade medicine pill materials. How about it? Is this enough?" "That's it?" Han Jingjing asked. "That's right. Isn't this enough?" Right Coiling Tiger suddenly revealed all his trump cards, feeling a little discouraged. "I don't know. When Brother Lin Yi comes back, I'll ask him for you," Han Jingjing said. "What? You still have to ask Lin Yi?" When Right Coiling Tiger heard Han Jingjing's words, it was as if he had been struck by lightning. He suddenly felt exhausted. He had said so much for nothing. He thought he could fool Han Jingjing, but in the end, Han Jingjing still had to ask Lin Yi. "That's right. This information belongs to Brother Lin Yi. If you want to make a copy, you naturally have to ask Brother Lin Yi," Han Jingjing said matter-of-factly. "Isn't the information in your hands now? If you secretly make a copy for me, then you can get these good things. Think about it, it's worth it." "If I were you, I would agree." Right Coiling Tiger didn't want Han Jingjing to ask Lin Yi again. He wanted to bypass Lin Yi. Otherwise, if he asked Lin Yi and Lin Yi asked for the Qi gathering pill, where would Right Coiling Tiger find it for him? "That won't do. Jingjing won't lie." Han Jingjing shook her head. Stubborn. Right Coiling Tiger cursed in his heart, but he didn't dare to say anything on the surface. He only said, "All right then, when Lin Yi comes back, you can ask him if these things are okay." He originally wanted to cut the Gordian knot with a knife and directly report a bunch of benefits to knock Han Jingjing out. While Lin Yi wasn't here, it seemed that Right Coiling Tiger was too idealistic. Han Jingjing didn't want to do underground transactions behind Lin Yi's back. Right Coiling Tiger left. Han Jingjing smiled slightly. Right Coiling Tiger's trump card had been tested by her. After Lin Yi came back, all she had to do was continue to add chips on these things. It would also save her the trouble of negotiating. Lin Yi drove to Songshan's orphanage. The orphanage now could be said to be different from before. Bright buildings rose from the ground, and the orphans lived in spacious and clean dorms. There were also more orphans of suitable age who could enter school, but at the same time, trouble came. Because of the expansion of the orphanage, the good environment attracted more abandoned babies. Many of the abandoned babies that the hospital didn't know how to deal with were all sent to Xiaoke's orphanage. Of course, it would be easy if these abandoned babies were healthy, but the problem was that most of these abandoned babies had congenital diseases. Needless to say, living expenses were naturally high, but the treatment fees were astronomical. With Xiaoke's personality, There was no reason for her to reject these orphans. So, this situation made Xiaoke, who had just gotten a breather, carry a heavy burden on her back again. Otherwise, with her previous savings and Fatty Lai sponsorship, she could totally let the orphans live a good life. But now, it wasn't possible. There were more and more orphans, and she had to hire more and more employees. These people were different from the volunteers in the orphanage. These people had to support their families, and they couldn't work for free. Xiaoke had to bear a large amount of expenses, and seeing that it was almost the end of the month, Fatty Lai went abroad for business. Naturally, Xiaoke was worried about how she could cash in such a large amount of Swiss francs. She couldn't pay these employees in Swiss francs, could she? Xiaoke sis, someone's here to help you. Xiao Ken saw Lin Yi's car and happily went to inform Xiaoke. Someone's here to help me. Who? Xiaoke looked at the excited Xiao Ken, slightly taken aback. Lin Yi bro is here. He'll definitely help you, Xiao Ken said. Lin Yi? Why is he here? Xiaoke's expression changed slightly. She frowned and looked at Xiao Ken. Xiao Ken, did you tell Lin Yi about me? Chapter 2548. Then how did he get here? Xiaoke's face turned even uglier. Only Xiao Ken and the dean knew that she brought back a box of Swiss francs from the practitioner's market. The other workers in the orphanage didn't know about it, so how did Lin Yi know about it? Xiaoke's face darkened even more. Although Lin Yi had a lot of information channels, why would Lin Yi pay attention to her if he had nothing to do? Could it be, Xiaoke had once suspected that Lin Yi was interested in her, but Lin Yi denied it, which made Xiaoke feel a little relieved. But no matter what, Xiaoke still felt uneasy. After all, Lin Yi wasn't someone she had a lot of contact with, and Lin Yi didn't look like someone who liked to meddle in other people's business. Why would he help her? What reason would he have to help the orphanage? And why would he go to such great lengths? His pharmaceutical company must have invested a lot of money into it, right? And he didn't ask for anything in return. Why? Xiaoke couldn't think of any reason for Lin Yi to do this. What was the value of this orphanage? There were many people who did good deeds. Even if Lin Yi was doing good, there was no need for him to do this, right? Lin Yi wasn't doing a good deed anymore, he was doing everything he could. And Lin Yi suddenly appeared, saying that he was here to help her solve her problem. This made Xiaoke worry even more. If Lin Yi didn't pay attention to her, how would he know that she needed Swiss francs? It seemed like Lin Yi had been paying attention to her, unless Lin Yi had sent people to follow her, and knew that she had been going to the bank and the black market every day to find out how to exchange money. But since Lin Yi was here, Xiaoke had no reason to reject him. Lin Yi was here to help her, and no matter what his purpose was, if Lin Yi could really help her exchange money, it would solve a lot of Xiaoke's problems. I don't know either. Sister Xiaoke, why do you look so pale? Xiao Ken smiled bitterly in his heart. If you knew that big brother Lin Yi is a male thief, I'm afraid you would have already rushed out, right? However, Xiao Ken couldn't get involved in this kind of thing. It's fine, let's go. Xiaoke sighed and left the room with Xiao Ken. Coming to the guest room downstairs, Xiaoke saw Lin Yi drinking tea on the sofa and chatting with the dean of the orphanage. The dean had a smile on her face and nodded from time to time. It seemed like she had a good impression of Lin Yi. Lin Yi, you're here. Xiaoke's attitude wasn't cold, but it wasn't friendly either. Xiao Ku, it's very troublesome to exchange those foreign currencies, right? Let me exchange it for you. Lin Yi said straightforwardly. After coming to the orphanage, he still had to go to school to visit Ziyu and Chen Shi, so time was tight. Ian, how did you know I had foreign currency to exchange? Xiaoke asked casually. Lin Yi was about to say that Xiao Ken told him, but he saw Xiao Ken standing behind Xiaoke and giving Lin Yi a look. Lin Yi paused and smiled bitterly. I heard it from someone else. Someone else? Xiaoke frowned. As expected, if he didn't keep an eye on her, how would he know that she needed to exchange foreign currencies? Alright, let's not talk about this. I'll make a call first. Lin Yi didn't want to sell Xiao Ken out and changed the topic. He took out his phone and called Peng Zhan. Lin Yi's actions, on the other hand, looked like a guilty conscience in Xiaoke's eyes. Avoiding the question meant that he was keeping an eye on her and refusing to admit it. Xiaoke didn't know what to do. What should she do? If she rejected Lin Yi and Lin Yi stopped funding the orphanage, what would she do? What would she do if he asked for her money back? Xiaoke fell into a dilemma. She knew that Lin Yi might be interested in her, but she couldn't turn back now. Once she went against Lin Yi, it wouldn't just be her problem, it would affect all the children in the orphanage. Did she want all the children to live on the streets? Xiaoke was scared just thinking about it, and so, Xiaoke had no choice but to nod dejectedly. All right, thank you. Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't notice the change in Xiaoke's facial expression. He thought that it was because she couldn't exchange the money out. He didn't think too much about it and turned to Pengzhan after the call connected. Uncle Chu, do you have time now? Now? Yeah, what's up, Yi? Pengzhan asked. It's like this, my friend has a lot of Swiss franc that he wants to exchange, but the amount is a bit large. Do you have a way? Lin Yi asked. That's easy, just ask your friend to come to me directly. But I'm in Songshan right now, can your friend come over? Pengzhan asked. Uncle Chu, I'm in Songshan right now, I'm in the orphanage, you see. Lin Yi said. All right, I'll ask Forbert to come find you, and he'll help you with the exchange, Pengzhan said. All right, thank you, Uncle Chu. Lin Yi hung up and turned to Xiaoke. All right, one of my elders will be here soon, he can help with the exchange. Oh. Xiaoke nodded. Although the problem was solved, she couldn't feel happy. She couldn't understand why Lin Yi would help her like this. If he didn't like her, then what was it? But what if Lin Yi liked her? What should she do? She didn't want to do anything to betray the male thief, and she didn't want the orphanage to be destroyed. She was in a dilemma, and naturally, there wasn't any joy in solving the problem. Xiaoke, what's wrong? Why do you look so worried? What's the problem? Tell me and I'll solve it together. Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't think much of it. Xiaoke did mention this once, but he treated it as a joke and didn't take it to heart. Plus, Lin Yi's other identity was that of a male thief, so naturally, he would show more concern for Xiaoke. Xiaoke, on the other hand, didn't think the same. The more Lin Yi treated her well, the more he wanted to help her solve her problems, the more she felt that Lin Yi was doing this for no reason. She said coldly, No, thank you. Xiaoke, why are you talking to Lin Yi like that? The Dean frowned. Chapter 2549. The Dean didn't know about Xiaoke's cunning thoughts, and seeing that her tone wasn't good, she scolded, Lin Yi is here to help us solve our problem, why do you have such a gloomy face? Xiaoke couldn't say it out loud in front of Lin Yi, and she didn't want to tell the Dean about it. She was afraid that the Dean would be worried. Lin Yi, the children of the orphanage and I are very grateful for your help. I thank you on behalf of the orphanage for everything you have done for us, Xiaoke said on behalf of the orphanage without hesitation. What she meant was that she was thanking him because of the orphanage, and she was only representing the orphanage. It was impossible for her to be thanking him personally. Lin Yi didn't want her to thank him personally. Lin Yi thought that Xiaoke was emotionally unstable because of her period, and he didn't think much about it. He wasn't a male thief anymore, and there was no need for Xiaoke to be nice to him. Lin Yi didn't mind, and smiled, haha, I was just helping out along the way, it's nothing much. Oh. Xiaoke heard Lin Yi say that, but she didn't really believe it. Along the way? You came all the way from Donghai to Songshan, and it was just along the way? Even if Xiaoke was an idiot, she wouldn't believe it, right? Plus, Xiaoke wasn't an idiot. Lin Yi saw that Xiaoke didn't seem to want to talk, so he didn't say anything. Only the headmaster of the orphanage frowned, not knowing what was wrong with Xiaoke today. Usually, when people came to donate, even if it was only 100 or 80 kwai, Xiaoke would welcome them with a smile, but today, Lin Yi was helping her solve such a big problem, and she was like this. After a while, Forbert drove to the orphanage. Forbert was very grateful to Lin Yi now, and if it wasn't for Lin Yi's insistence on treating Forbert like a junior, Forbert would want to talk to Lin Yi as an equal. Thank you, Uncle Li. Xiaoke knew who Forbert was, but she wasn't too familiar with him. She gave the Swiss francs to Forbert and thanked him politely. Her attitude towards Lin Yi was very different, and it made Lin Yi very puzzled. Why did Xiaoke's attitude change so suddenly? After dealing with the orphanage, Lin Yi didn't stay any longer. He looked at the time, and it wasn't time for Ziyu and Chen Shi to finish school yet, so he drove directly to Fatty Lai's medical company. The orphanage and Miracle Dr. Guan's new building weren't far from each other. The two were taken at the same time, and the construction started at the same time. Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was also, and the Guan's medical company. Now, no matter if people mentioned golden creation or injury medicine, they would first think of Miracle Dr. Guan's products. Dr. Kang was like yesterday's flower, and Dr. Kang's medical company gave up on production. The military products were also stopped because of the weight loss medicine scandal of Dr. Kang's medical company. So Miracle Dr. Kang's medical company had no choice but to shut down after losing all the market. Fortunately, House Kang had a powerful Kang Jiaoming, and they had a good relationship with the hidden House Yu. This way, they could help House Yu sell some low-level pills. These pills had a lot of recognition in the top auction market. For example, a level 1 pill like the Little Rejuvenation Pill. Although it wasn't as effective as the Little Rejuvenation Pill, it was still very effective for normal injuries, especially to speed up the recovery period of patients after surgery. This type of pill was made by the hidden House Yu, and they didn't want to sell it themselves, so they just let House Kang do it for them. Don't look down on these level 1 pills. These things were very valuable. In many cases, a level 1 pill could even be sold at the price of a level 2 pill. The reason was simple. There were a lot of rich people in the common world, but although there was no lack of rich families in the cultivation world, they were all people who knew what was good for them. They wouldn't pay too high a price for these pills. Of course, a large portion of the profits would still be given to the hidden House Yu, and House Kang would only get a small portion. But even so, the profits from the auction were enough for House Kang to look down on many companies. It wasn't any less than the previous Dr. Kang's medical company. It might even be more. After all, the cost of auctioning pills was very low, much lower than running a company. Lin Yi parked his car in front of the building of the Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. When he walked into the building, he was stopped by the security guard. "Hello sir, may I know who you are looking for?" Lin Yi smiled. He remembered the first time he came to Songshan and entered Pengzhan Industries. He encountered a similar situation, but this meant that the Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company was much more formal than before. Before, people could enter as they pleased. "Is Kang here?" Lin Yi asked. Fatty Lai went overseas, so he looked for Kang directly. In fact, Lin Yi was also here to see Kang. Ever since graduation, Lin Yi hadn't seen Kang, his best friend, for a long time. Both of them were busy with their own things and didn't have much free time. "You are looking for Vice President Kang. Do you have an appointment?" The security guard heard that Lin Yi was looking for Kang, so he quickly asked. "Appointment?" "No, just inform him," Lin Yi said. "I see. Then how should I address you, sir?" The security guard didn't chase him away directly, so he asked politely. Lin Yi said. "Lin Yi." "Okay." The security guard turned around and went to the front desk to inform Kang's secretary, but halfway there, he suddenly realized something. He turned around and looked at Lin Yi in surprise. "You said your name is Lin Yi?" "Yeah." Lin Yi looked at the security guard, confused. He didn't know what was wrong with him. Why did he suddenly turn around and ask about this? "Mr. Lin, please come in." The security guard quickly made a welcoming gesture and said respectfully, "I'll bring you to Vice President Kang." "Oh, okay." Lin Yi was confused. "Why didn't you inform him?" "It's like this. In our security regulations, the first rule is that Mr. Lin and Miracle Dr. Guan can enter the company without notifying anyone. This is a rule set by President Lai," the security guard explained. The guard explained. No wonder he felt that Lin Yi's name was familiar. Luckily, he remembered it now. It wasn't his fault that he was slow. Although he didn't come to the company often, he would come once in a while to discuss the future direction of the company with Fatty Lai, so the security guards all knew him. But Lin Yi was different. This was the first time Lin Yi had appeared since the building was completed, so it was normal that the security guards didn't know him. Chapter 2550. "I see," Lin Yi smiled. He didn't expect Fatty Lai to come up with such a rule. They took the elevator upstairs and the security guard personally brought Lin Yi to the vice president's office and knocked on the door for Lin Yi. The person who opened the door was a young, beautiful, and arrogant woman with heavy makeup. Lin Yi frowned. Was this Kang's secretary? Huh. Why is it a security guard? What's the matter? Why didn't you call to inform us beforehand? The woman looked at the security guard and Lin Yi and frowned. You're new, right? Don't you know the rules? Secretary Wang, this is Lin Yi, Mr. Lin. Chairman Lai has a rule that allows people to come in without informing us. The security guard explained with a bitter smile. Chairman Lai said to look for Chairman Lai. This is Vice President Kang's office. The woman was obviously unhappy with the security guard using Chairman Lai's name to suppress people. This surprised Lin Yi. How could this woman be so daring? Could it be that he really had an unclear relationship with Kang? Otherwise, how could she be so arrogant? As if she was the general manager. Lil Wang, what's going on? Kang's voice came from the office. Vice President Kang, someone said that Chairman Lai personally approved him to enter the company at any time. The woman said directly. She didn't seem to have any respect for Kang. This made Lin Yi even more suspicious. Oh! Kang was slightly surprised. He walked out of the office and saw Lin Yi. The doubt in his heart immediately turned into surprise. He quickly ran over and held Lin Yi's hand. He said excitedly, "Boss, you're here. I didn't expect this. Please come in. Lil Wang, there's nothing else for you to do. You can go now." Oh. The woman nodded and really went into the secretary's office. Lin Yi took a look and saw that the woman's computer was actually playing Plants vs. Zombies. It was even more strange. Usually, a secretary would take the initiative to serve tea when the boss had a guest. This woman, on the other hand, went back to play the game. The security guard wiped the sweat on his forehead and said to Kang, "Vice President Kang, I'll go back first." "Okay, thank you." Kang nodded and said to the security guard, "Are you used to working here?" Lin Yi looked at Kang's attire. It had only been a few months, and Kang was looking more and more like a successful businessman now. He didn't look like a student at all, and Lin Yi was quite gratified by this. It seemed like Kang had chosen the right path back then. It's not bad. President Lai often travels, so I'm in charge of the company. Although it's busy, it's fulfilling. Boss, thank you for giving me this opportunity, Kang said sincerely. Hihi. Let's talk inside. Lin Yi pointed inside the office and said. Okay, you see, I forgot. Please come in. Kang quickly invited Lin Yi into the office and let Lin Yi sit on the sofa. Then, she turned around and poured water for Lin Yi. This action made Lin Yi even more puzzled. What exactly did a secretary do? How's Xiao Fen? Lin Yi couldn't ask directly. Although the relationship between the two was very good, it was too abrupt to ask about the relationship between Kang and the female secretary when they just met. So, Lin Yi changed the way he asked. She's good. Kang Ming placed the tea in front of Lin Yi and said, President Lai also built a high-end community nearby as a staff welfare house. The internal price is relatively low. Xiao Fen and I also bought a set, and we're already living together. We're going to hold a banquet next year, and when we're of age, we'll register our marriage. Oh. Lin Yi nodded. It seemed that the relationship between the two was not bad, but this female secretary. Lin Yi thought about it and said, other than Xiao Fen, you didn't flirt with other women, right? You also know that in your position. It wasn't that Lin Yi was too controlling. If Xiao Fen didn't have any opinion, it was their business if Kang wanted to find a lover. Lin Yi really didn't have any opinion. After all, this was other people's housework. But if you want to find someone, you should find a decent one, right? The beauty of the one just now could only be said to be average, and the makeup was really unflattering. This was a company, not a theatrical troupe, and the makeup was really terrible. Moreover, this person's arrogant temper and character also made Lin Yi very dissatisfied. Boss, what are you talking about? My relationship with Xiao Fen is very good. How can I find someone else? Kang was stunned. He didn't expect Lin Yi to suddenly mention this problem. To be honest, boss, if it wasn't for your help, I would still be a loser. How could I become the vice president? Xiao Fen also followed me from that time. I can't abandon her just because I became rich, right? And Xiao Fen is also very powerful now. She even got a CPA, and now she's the company's deputy finance director. If I don't keep a close eye on her, there will be a lot of people pursuing her. Lin Yi nodded and was relieved. Kang's sincerity didn't seem to be a lie, but Lin Yi was even more puzzled, so he couldn't help but say, "Your secretary." After Kang listened to Lin Yi's words, he was stunned at first, and then he understood Lin Yi's meaning. Lin Yi's previous words were probably directed at the female secretary. The female secretary's attitude and way of doing things made Lin Yi think too much. However, Kang did have something difficult to say. He hesitated and smiled bitterly. She is a backdoor entrant. What? Backdoor entrant? Lin Yi was stunned, and then he finally understood why this woman was so badass. It turned out to be a backdoor entrant. However, Lin Yi was puzzled immediately. How big of a backdoor entrant did she have to be able to make her not even put Kang, the vice president, in her eyes? Yeah, she is a backdoor entrant. I can't do anything about it, so I arranged her here to gain experience. Kang shook his head helplessly. Whose backdoor entrant is so powerful? Lin Yi asked. Even a vice president like you can't order her around. This. Kang really couldn't say. This backdoor entrant was arranged by Tang Yun's mother, Wang Yujie. It was a relative of Tang Yun's mother. At that time, with Mrs. Tang's vanity, she bragged in front of her relative that the boss behind the company was her son-in-law. Since this relative was also a vain person, she thought that she was also a relative of the boss behind the scenes, so she looked down on everyone in the company, and even Fatty Lai didn't give a damn. However, Kang couldn't say anything about Tang Yun. This was something Meng Yaro and Yushu specifically told him to do. Fortunately, this female secretary didn't know Lin Yi's name, and Mrs. Tang didn't say anything, otherwise, it might really be exposed. What's wrong? Can't say? Lin Yi frowned.